Hello, everyone. Hope you're all having a fantastic, wonderful day today so far. Okay, welcome on board. Hope everyone's ready for it. It's a bit of a shorthanded one today, but this should still be a lot of fun. We got two people here who are fans of a couple of the teams that are going to be talked about today.
Uh-huh. Listen, what I heard was through the grapevines is the quarterback situation in Pittsburgh is going really bad. Holly had to fly there.
Yeah,
That's
something
what
like
I
that.
heard.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that a little bit after I start the recording. But yeah, I hope you're all having fun.
Yes. Wait, is that towards us? Yes, of
Well,
course.
never mind. I'm gonna have to pull this VOD from Twitch because my software for recording isn't working either. I'm just filled with tech issues again.
Is stream still live at least?
Yeah, stream's still live.
Hi, friend. Hi.
Hi,
But yeah,
friends.
I guess might as well
I'm in pain.
say Gomrazilicon here, joined by ItsJohnnyRose and shilOMG, as we go
That's
ahead and
me.
cover the NFC for the 2024 season. Let me go ahead and get some fun little tunes to play right now. What's the thing that pops on my feed off the bat? Oh, tavern music. How about that?
What type of tavern music?
It just says fantasy medieval / tavern music, relaxing Celtic music, tavern ambience, and medieval folk BGM. It doesn't
This
spell
is not
medieval
updated.
correctly.
Yeah, so you need to update your shit. This does not have a recent signing.
Oh, hello?
Yeah.
Oh,
but-
you're looking at rosters, I'm assuming?
yeah.
Okay, but yeah, let's go. I'm gonna go ahead and let's have a bit of a preamble to open this up with. I'm gonna go ahead and start with an addendum on my hot take I had last week about the Baltimore Ravens. I no longer think they're gonna be last place in their division. That's a bad one. I looked again at injury reports, at how some training camps have been going for teams, how some preseason games have been going for some players. And I realized there's two other teams in the division that are definitely going to most likely be worse than the Ravens. So I'm going to go ahead and say that it's actually the Steelers who are going to have their first losing season under Tomlin and have the first fourth place finish in a division since, what, the 80s?
I think
And that is me also being down on the Browns. I'm letting you know that.
Down in the Browns.
It's one of those two teams for sure. Just,
Nate's got the runs.
Listen, hey,
let me cook.
It doesn't help that Russell
and
Wilson
Rich.
shouldn't be a player in the NFL anymore by all reports. And Justin Fields ain't exactly looking good either. It's
that back end of their schedule is just too rough for the Steelers for me to believe that it couldn't possibly be the Steelers as an option.
It couldn't get worse. Somehow it gets worse.
Yeah. Well, can't wait to go ahead and look at my final feelings about the predictions next week and go over these with everyone else. Anything you all would like to talk about before we go into the teams as well?
Not really. A lot of things are positive this week, honestly. Kind of excited to get into this and get going with what I imagine is going to be a fun afternoon. But we'll see. I can't say for all of us.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can go ahead and start off pretty soon right now. Let me go ahead and Streamlabs OBS is so fucking weird. I'm not going to be used to this after being used in the studio for so long.
I'm telling you, it's not great. And that's not even me being sponsored by anything else.
Yeah. Alright, but yeah, let's go ahead and start things off with the Dallas Cowboys, who won the NFC East last year. They are expected to face the 10th toughest strength of schedule and the second toughest when you remove their out their divisional games, which is 20 spots tougher than last year's strength of schedule. So that's a big flag there. Schedule of defenses, pass defenses are gonna be like 12th toughest most likely, and pass rush will actually be the second easiest most likely. So, hey, your offensive line woes might not be the worst thing to worry about after all. Run defense is going to go from 6th easiest to 18th toughest, though. You got a great running back, though, right? There's not really going to be too much changes for the schedule of offense they'll be facing. They're forecast to win 10.5 games, favored in 14. Underdogs in 3, average line of -2.3. Remember, this is the Dallas Cowboys, so Vegas is always going to be bumping the numbers up because their fans they can be a little bit wild when it comes to bets. They have 3 short week road games, 2 games off a road Sunday night or Monday night football game. And they have a rest disadvantage against other teams at one of the higher rates in the league. The coaching staff, yeah, coaching staff is Mike McCarthy, returning it for the 5th year as head coach. And he, even if this is a winning season, he's being replaced by Belichick next year, probably.
Please, no. I don't think that's impossible.
Jerry Jones was so ready to leave. He was so ready. The offensive coordinator, Brian Schottenheimer, for the 2nd year. New DC, Mike Zimmer. They lost cornerback Stephon Gilmore, running back Tony Pollard, center Tyler Biadasz, left tackle Tyron Smith.
Biadasz, I think is how you pronounce it. Biadasz.
Okay, thank you. Edges Dante Fowler, linebacker Leighton Vander Esch, who had an up and down career. Wide receiver Michael Gallup. And they added linebacker Eric Hendricks, running backs Royce Freeman and Ezekiel Elliott, who I just brought up simply because they're additions at this point. And they drafted tackle Tyler Gutton in the 1st round. Oh, this is weird, but I'm going to let someone else go ahead and give their analysis first. Shiloh?
We also added Jordan Linval, defensive tackle.
Oh.
It was like yesterday or the day before, I think, which is why I noticed that when I was looking at the depth chart. It's like, he's not there. You'd probably update that.
Okay, I definitely wrote my notes before that happened.
Yeah, no, he was it was pretty. I'm in pain. This is gonna suck. 10 feels generous. Oh boy. You say we don't need to worry about the offensive holes, but you got a rookie at left tackle or right tackle, wherever the fuck the hole is that we lost Tyron Smith. I can't remember anymore. Got starting off with the first 6 weeks, we got Cleveland, Baltimore, and Detroit in there. Come off the bye against the Niners. You got Philly and Houston after, playing the Falcons. Bengals in there after, the Bengals after, well, you get a rest there, but I mean, this schedule is gross.
It's not the best for you all.
We have no running back. We've got 1.5 wide receivers.
You don't even know what the CD situation is, because it sounded like there was contract negotiations going well, and then CD was like, actually, time to be Mr. Bad now, randomly.
Micah Parsons at least believes he'll be playing week 1, so I have that to fall back on. I'll trust Micah. But then Micah needs money.
Yeah.
Jack's gonna need money. We don't have money. They're all gonna command a lot of money. The secondary, in my opinion, still needs a bit of help, and it's always needed help. We have a kicker for once. There's that.
Yeah.
Finally, nailing 66-yarders. They don't count, but he hit it. Fucking Maurice Liu Fao. I think I probably butchered that, but apparently good news out of training camp with him. So that's been good. Getting Deron Bland and Diggs both healthy, hopefully this year. It'll be nice because they've both been crazy with interceptions when they've been playing. Losing Gilmore sucks, but also at the same time, not the worst.
True.
The linebacker room's weird. We definitely need to kind of work on that. Or hopefully that the pickups were good. because it's been a problem too. It's just
I did.
and Zeke, why?
Yeah,
Why?
Jerry likes his guys.
Why? I just want to be happy for once, man.
I did want to say, you brought up the interceptions, like turnovers. That is actually an issue going forward with the Cowboys because, some of their wins were reliant on getting those turnovers, but there's also the issue that they had a good positive margin of turnovers 2 years in a row, and only 8 teams in the last 30 years have managed to repeat that for 3 years in a row. And you lost the defensive coordinator who's all about making sure you get those turnovers.
Yeah, but now he's off to go be a head coach, and we know how that went, unfortunately, Johnny, to bring that up.
No, it's fine. I'm waiting for my turn.
No, you can go whenever.
No, I gotta make sure Shiloh is done.
He'll never be done when it comes to this team because they just bring me sadness
Well,
constantly.
I gotta know if you're done talking about the team.
Yeah, you can go ahead whenever you want.
Y'all want to know how bad it is to be a Cowboys fan?
So bad.
Will Smith himself played a Cowboy more recently than they did win a Super Bowl. I'm just saying. Shout out Wild Wild West. I'm just saying. In this period of time, they have won a Super Bowl. Michael Keaton left being Batman, and then came back and was Batman again.
Can I one quick interjection? Just because I need to feel some serotonin in this, then I'll let you continue. You know what has happened in a longer period of time? We've won a Super Bowl more recently than the 49ers have. Suck at San Francisco.
All I'm saying is, and this is nothing against San Francisco. Anyone out there want to know how long it's been since the Cowboys won a Super Bowl? Anyone? Nate?
Since I was
90s,
8 months old in
98,
1996.
It's been
96.
such a long period of gap in time that Leonardo DiCaprio wouldn't even date them anymore.
Fuck off.
Thank you. I prepared
was
these
good.
earlier and had to get these cleared by Nate first.
Yeah.
I had to make sure. I think you guys will be fine. Honestly, you're the Cowboys. You tend to win a lot recently.
Yeah, well,
That's the biggest thing. No, genuinely, you have a good enough team where you'd still win at least 10 games. Let's be honest.
That depends on CD.
It also
not gonna
depends on if that guy is actually going to be there next year or not.
That's also true. I think if it's his last year, he's in a contract. He plays
Yeah.
however he plays this year. And then he plays
Jerry was telling his media buddies that that situation's fine. They're going to get that contract handled soon. When does Jerry ever lie and tell the media to make him look better?
Yeah.
Let's double check the contract.
I will say though, you guys aren't confirmed to win
Maybe
the division.
next year. I can't understand how this is reading.
While you're
I will
looking
say,
that up, oh sorry.
they're not confirmed to win the division because again, it's been 20 plus years since we've had a consistent winner in that division.
I just wanted to.
Oh yeah, I
also-
don't expect to win it. It'll probably be the Eagles this year.
I just wanted to go
Much
ahead
better stuff.
and add that over the last 3 seasons, the Cowboys have been 25-4 against non-playoff teams and 12-14 against playoff teams. So it's a team that's good at being a bully, not great when you face actual competition.
Yes,
It helps that a lot of those wins are against 4 times in the division.
Yeah, the Giants and Commanders haven't exactly been reliable yet. Oh,
And
also,
we'll
hi
use-
Brian.
Split against the Eagles. So it's usually it's average around 4 to 5 wins when it comes to division games. So
Well, that'll be enough for the Cowboys. Let's go ahead and move on over to the Philadelphia Eagles, who were second place in the division. They are expected to face the 13th easiest schedule, but 7th toughest out of division, which is pretty much the same as last year's schedule. Schedule of defense is going to be overall about the same, but their pass defenses are going to go from 9th toughest to 25th, and rushing defenses will be the 4th easiest like they were last year. And passing offenses they're going to be facing are going to go from like middle of the line to the 4th easiest, and running offenses they're facing are going to go from middle of the line to 6th easiest. They are forecast to win 10.5 games, favored in 13, underdogs in 4, average line of -2.4. They had one of the worst rest advantages situations last season, and they had like that issue where they had to face a bunch of tough teams all in December, pretty much, which they helped derail things. But they actually have one of the best rest advantage situations this season. They have head coach Nick Sirianni returning for his 4th year, or maybe a surprise exit if he continues to have a weird relationship with Jalen Hurts. That whole oddness going on. They have a new offensive coordinator and familiar face to the NFC East, Kellen Moore. New defensive coordinator and Vic Fangio, who left Miami to be with family. I don't know if he got paid more or not to be in Philly, honestly.
Probably got paid more realistically.
And they
the schedule.
over the offseason, they lost edge Hassan Reddick, defensive lineman Fletcher Cox, running back DeAndre Swift, safety Kevin Byard. What's up?
Did they really lose him? Is the biggest thing.
Yeah, who knows? That's another weird one. We brought it up last week.
Yeah.
Linebacker Shaq Leonard, wide receiver Julio Jones, and center Jason Kelsey retired. And over the offseason, they gained Bryce Huff at edge, Saquon Barkley at running back, cornerbacks Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Quinton Mitchell with the 1st-round pick, Cooper DeShawn with the 2nd-round pick, linebackers Devin White and Zach Bond, quarterback Kenny Pickett. I just found it funny they went to another Pennsylvania team. Right tackle Mekhi Becton, who's just a backup, and center Matt Hennessy. But Jurgens gonna be taking the starter position.
Did you also add today's acquisition?
I forgot about today's acquisition of their new wide receiver 3, Jahan Dotson.
Yeah.
Quarterback Kenny Pickett, who wanted to be a starter somewhere, by the way.
Yeah.
I
No
find
one
it very interesting. I find it very interesting is they were a very dominant team last year, and then they had a little bit of an issue, but then they still made the playoffs. Is the biggest thing. It's very weird to me that you guys are like really good, lose a few games, think it's all over, threaten to fire your head coach, still make it to the playoffs, but all this controversy is the reason why you guys lost immediately. Like you fell apart mentally.
Big Mike.
Like they fell apart mentally entirely. That's what I'm not taking away from the Buccaneers. Great playoff win for them, but they fell apart mentally very quickly, very easily, which is very depressing to say. I wish them the best. I hope they do better. I also forgot who was on the team. He had like 3 catches and 3 touchdowns, more than he did here in the end zone in his last few years. So good for him. Also, one big thing. Because Saquon, of course, went from New York to Philadelphia. People are like, Saquon, how could you? The Giants haven't been good for so fucking long. Just shut up. All right.
Saquon's going from a bottom 3 offensive line to a top 3 offensive line. So
yeah, so it's like, just stop talking. Yeah, he left. You see his fucking time in New York? It was garbage.
They didn't treat him that well at the end either.
Yeah,
Saquon is going to be so good in Philly. He's gonna. They're not gonna be using the tush push as much without Kelsey, but Saquon's gonna take over those short yardage moments.
Yeah, he's definitely worth paying attention to this year. But yeah, also the Hassan Reddick thing. It's like they didn't really lose him, especially because he might not play for the Jets. / has to deal with weird contract disputes, and they got him for what? Got him for what, 3rd or 4th or something?
Yeah,
I don't remember the trade, but it was still, if he doesn't play in New York, great trade. Very good for them. But yeah, I see them being fine. The only issue is the mental stuff. That team is way too good to physically lose a football game unless injuries occur, but I don't see that happening. Well, I do see it happening, but I don't want it to happen. Shiloh.
I wish nothing but the worst on all of you.
Wow, Marf is right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Also, Marf, if you're watching this, I got something you can master. Pants grab.
I don't know what a Kellen Moore offense will look for them necessarily. I think this team's gonna be good off of talent alone.
Wait, they have Kellen Moore now?
Yeah, they have. So it's not exactly they got a huge upgrade offensive coordinator. It feels like.
Wait, he's offensive coordinator?
Yeah.
Oh, that team's gonna suck.
Ooh, shout
It's
out
also a
Boise
thing
State.
of like they should hopefully be faster paced because they went from the fastest offense in 2022 to the slowest, one of the slowest in 2023, which is part of what the issues were and why Brian Johnson got fired.
Get ready for some run, pass every time.
I mean,
they can work for them now. It's a sad thing.
I was about to say, I will say that it could be their bread and butter is the biggest thing. Run, pass. Especially again if
But it's gonna be easy with Kellen Moore. It's easy to predict and stop.
It's good.
I mean, Cowboys made it work, so I guess maybe the Eagles can too. But like, Kellen Moore needs to learn how to be more creative with his play calling.
he was for like the first like year or so with you guys, but then you can tell he got complacent. Like
He really did. That's why I didn't like him going to the Chargers, because like I knew he was just not gonna work.
I was hoping for.
And it didn't.
I was hoping for better. I was wrong.
Yeah.
I also like that the team aggressively went into changing their defensive backfield because they needed it a lot. Somehow they got Cooper DeJean in the second round. Yeah, sorry about that. Hey, they open up in Brazil against the Packers.
Do they?
That's gonna.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
so
Brazil
oh yeah, sure. Fuck it.
Yeah,
Let's
first
ball. I
Brazil
don't
game.
care.
And it's green
Yeah,
colors.
that's gonna be.
They picked it.
That's
two
genuinely
green
cool.
teams.
That's genuinely cool. Holy shit, that's really cool. I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
it's also gonna be like how we like test the waters for both of those teams. Honestly, 'cause I don't know how to feel about the Packers. We'll get to them in a bit. But also like, it's a lot of new faces on the Eagles in many ways, and I don't know how to feel about them just yet. I mean, I will definitely be one of the two because both Cowboys and the Eagles make the playoffs. It's just like who does better, and it'll probably be the Eagles.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel confident about the Cowboys at all. But this is definitely going to be like setting the tone for both of those teams. That week one matchup, and just see how well Jordan Love gets in now with his new contract. How well the Eagles can bounce back from that horrific back end of their season.
Yeah.
And how the changes they've made in the offseason can roll into the new one.
Man, it's so weird to remember this team was 10-1 entering week 12.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
just fell apart.
I'm telling
They
you.
should have run away with the East, and they just didn't.
Half of it's mental, other half physical,
Yeah.
It all
Other-
started with them shit talking the Chiefs too.
other half Mike Shinoda.
Did you?
What?
I did see that. By the way, another issue pretty often from 2022 to 2023. 2022, the Eagles often led at halftime by an NFL best average of 7.8 points. And then last year's Eagles only led in the half like 6 of their first 12 games. And it's you can feel all that slowness, all that complacency, all the weird energy.
Well, I think it was also like, hey, we're gonna be back in the Super Bowl. We'll get there. It's easy. We'll just do it again. And then like teams also figured out a lot of the plays they were doing, which again, let's hope the offense coordinator change fixes a bit of those issues. But it's just again, don't get complacent. You're a really good football team. Prove it.
Also, I'm just gonna say, past their top 3, I have no idea who any of their wide receivers are.
That's probably why they made sure to get Dotson.
I was about to say you realistically only need 3.
Yeah, but like they got like no depth if none of these if those top 3 don't work out. Which I mean, Dotson's again still kind of a question mark because he's not really fully worked out with Washington.
Well,
Yeah,
realistically,
you
you split out. No, go ahead.
I mean, you can finish this thought and we're moving on.
Yeah, you could. Well, the biggest thing is you can split outside Dotson and AJ Brown, and then just have
True.
Devontae Smith in the slot, and you can just easily eat up the middle of the field, and open
True.
up a wide game for Smith, and then
Goddard.
Goddard, and then also again Brown is AJ Brown, and Dotson could just fill in the gaps if needed. That's what Julio did, and Julio's like fucking 60.
I lied. I know one of their other receivers. It's John Ross because we talked about him already.
Oh yeah. We'll
And I
see
guess Ngata, but like not much. I just know the name.
Anyways,
see if
we're
we
moving
can-
on to. We're
Yeah.
going to the Big Apple now, everyone, with the New York Giants, who are expected to face the 11th toughest strength of schedule, but 11th easiest when you get out of the division. 2 spots easier than last year's schedule, so whatever. They are going to face the 3rd toughest pass defense schedule, middle of the road when it comes to pass rush, though. And one of the easiest run defense schedules, though. They're going to be facing middle line schedules for passing and running offenses. They are forecast to win 6.5 games, favored in 3, underdogs in 14, average line of plus 3.2. For the coaching staff, Brian Daboll is returning for his 3rd year as head coach. You have Mike Kafka, 3rd-year offensive coordinator, and new DC Shane Bowen, who was the Tennessee Titans defensive coordinator. Over the offseason, they lost safety Xavier McKinney, cornerback Adoree Jackson, running back Saquon Barkley, quarterback Tyrod Taylor, and a lot of other names who are just players that are either not on the team or backups elsewhere now. They added in the offseason edge Brian Burns, guard John Runyon Jr., running back Devin Singletary, defensive tackle Jordan Phillips, and wide receivers Allen Robinson and Malik Neighbors. And I'm just going to go ahead and say, I'm sorry that you did not get rid of Daniel Jones.
How was Allen Robinson, no offense to him, how was he still on a football team? I don't get that. Hey, how does he also have a head coaching spot still after 3 years? Like,
Daboll? Oh, because he won Coach of the Year his first year.
That's right. They did go on a weird run that year. Never mind.
And then they gave Daniel Jones a 4-year contract when he wasn't even a good quarterback.
Yeah,
this isn't like $40 million a year or something like that too.
Hey, yeah. In his career, Daniel Jones has been bottom 10 in most quarterback metrics. And when it comes to how he handles pressure, over the last 2 years, quarterbacks with 300 more attempts on early downs, he is 44th out of 45 in pressure rate at 40%, while also being 44th out of 45 in sack rate at 9.6%, and 41 out of 45 in sack for pressure rate. So the only quarterback worse than him overall is Justin Fields in that regard.
Man,
He has no awareness. It's terribly inaccurate.
he's the 2nd worst quarterback in New York and in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things where you kind of want to, like, again, root for the underdog, but then you realize the underdog is bad, and it's like he's never going to get any better, and you should probably move on, but you're not moving on for some reason.
Yeah.
Also,
I mean, they were kind of couldn't, because I mean, they have to wait until the end of this year to kind of move on.
well,
Because then it'll be a lot less money for them to do so.
He has a dead cap of 69 point something million this year.
Well,
and it
what
drops down to like 20 something after this year.
What I mean is, like, how did you not see the writing on the wall before the contract extension?
Yeah, no, that's
the
fair.
biggest thing.
Yeah, no, that was a dumb thing to give him an extension in the first place.
He was not even playing like worth half that.
Because Trevor Lawrence just got paid a lot of money, and I would put them on 2 different tiers entirely, even though I don't think Trevor Lawrence is even the best quarterback. But it's like, it's still night and day with those two is the biggest thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I like how you said they have the easiest run defense schedule, Nate?
One of the easier ones.
Yeah, good luck. You said same. Yeah,
With,
good luck,
what
Singletary.
running back?
Singletary
And with
putting
what
all
line?
those defenses shaking in their boots.
Singletary genuinely
Okay.
might achieve 1,000 yards just because they still do have to hand the ball off is the biggest thing.
The only part of this team I like is the defensive line because that's Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, and Dexter Lawrence.
I do say I hope Malik Neighbors does develop is the biggest thing.
Yeah, he looks good in the preseason so far. Preseason, but still.
And also the other biggest thing, how do they fleece fucking Brian Burns?
I don't
Because
like
the Panthers are dumb.
Well, no, I know the Panthers are dumb, but it's like, how do they not be like, we don't want to trade in division, so
Brian Burns should have. The Bears should have got Brian Burns instead. I don't know how he didn't go there.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like, did they just call first, or like it was like 2 a.m, like, fuck it, send him. I imagine when it was like, yeah, send him to New York, and then they like looks at the contract, like, oh, it says the Giants.
I guess he didn't go to Chicago because the Panthers were tired of being fleeced by the Bears.
Yeah, probably.
Oh
Jesus,
man.
yeah, you're right. Oh my god. I don't have anything else to say about this team. Honestly, it's a bad team. It's going to continue to be bad, and
Oh god.
I just wanted to. When I was going over in
Gary
notes and
Slayton still has a job for this team. What the
I know.
fuck?
yeah, I think the wildest thing, even beyond Daniel Jones' numbers and ranks that I saw, was looking at their sack margin. I want you to guess. Let's say within 5 of how many sacks they had, and how many sacks they took.
Oh,
I'll let you know, it's not great.
I gotta look something up real quick.
Give me 14 sacks for the team. Give me. You said it is within 5 or isn't within 5?
No, you can go. No, your guess will be within 5 of the actual number.
Okay.
Points.
So give me the team had 14 sacks. Daniel Jones got sacked 43 times.
Oh, you're being nice to them.
You know,
On a
as someone who again has one of the worst defense in the league for the past ever, it's hard to say what a high number of sacks is for your team.
So, how many they gave up and how many they had?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the teams usually. Okay. 17 games. We'll go. They had 25. Gave up about 170. We're gonna drop that into 150.
Okay, that is still insane.
Yeah, but no, they're bad.
I mean, the actual margin is going to be insane, by the way. This team has 34 sacks, so they averaged 2 per game. And they allowed 84. They have, 85. At minus 5-1 sack margin, that is the worst margin in that metric in NFL history.
Holy shit!
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Line bad.
Line's bad. Their QB is bad. Can't handle pressure.
Motherfucker, throw the ball away. God. Take the penalty. That's CT gonna be hitting when you're 40.
It's just a lot of not good there. Man, this is just not great. They're not set up for a good season. Malik Neighbors is going to show what's going to be nice for their next quarterback. But damn!
I still think what's very interesting is there's a team worse than this in this division.
Yeah, there was a team that finished
at this
worse.
time.
Yeah.
Maybe.
They had a terrible defense, a terrible offense, and somehow they still won 7 games.
Looking at it, apparently that team is also, the team you're talking about is also favored against this team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if do we have anything else we want to say about the Giants?
Are they favored to win any? How many games? Did you say how many games they're favored to win this year? Are they? So they're only going to win 3 games. Or
they're favored to win 3, but their forecast is 6.5 wins.
I
would bet the under.
That's debatable. Okay. That is very debatable.
Looking at this, I would not be. I mean, they're not going to, but I would not be surprised to see them go like 1-16 or fucking 0-17.
I wouldn't be surprised if they are. I wouldn't also be surprised if they're picking too late to get the quarterback of their choice in the next draft. Ended up going with QB3, who's probably Shedeur Sanders.
Like, I think I genuinely can see them going 2-15. Like all these other teams, all the teams they are playing are just head and shoulders. Even, I mean, well, I guess with JJ McCarthy down, they can maybe win 3 games there. But like, I think the Vikings in Week 1 are still somehow a better team in every other aspect with Darnold.
It's a rough.
2 wins, like Washington, like at home, and then Carolina. Other than that, I what other games are they gonna win?
That I couldn't tell you. Honestly.
I don't think they win any other games.
Hey, sorry, fans of MetLife teams. We're not high on your teams.
You have the Giants and a team that employs Aaron Rodgers. I'm not sorry.
Alright, but that's good enough talk there. Let's go ahead and head on over to Maryland. Or at least I forget which one.
We're heading
to
the
Commanders. I forgot about this team.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and check out the Washington Commanders, who are expected to face pretty middling strength of schedule, but the 8th out of the division. About the same strength as they had last season. They're still facing a borderline top 10 pass defense, but a bottom 10 pass rush and a bottom 10 run defense. Their schedule of offenses they're facing is a mixture of middle and pretty easy, honestly. They're forecast to win 6.5 games, favored in 3, underdogs in 14, with an average line of plus 2.6. For coaching, it's a lot of new faces here. Dan Quinn as the new head coach, former Dallas defense coordinator. Cliff Kingsbury is the new offensive coordinator, who was pretty much on vacation mode in his time at USC. And you have new defensive coordinator Joe Witt, who was the Dallas secondary coach. And in the offseason, they lost quarterback Jacoby Brissett, wide receiver Curtis Samuel, cornerback Ken Fuller, safety Cameron Curl, running back Antonio Gibson, center Nick Gates, and we mentioned it earlier in the stream that they also lost Jahan Dotson today, which who knows how big of a blow that is other than for depth, because he was already on the way out. Players that they added are quarterbacks Marcus Mariota, and they took Jaden Daniels in the first round. They added edges. I just put them down because they're technically starters or rotation people who are going to see a lot of time. Dorrance Armstrong Jr., Frankie Louvu, and Cleveland Farrell. They added center Tyler Biadasz, linebacker Bobby Wagner, who's 34, so hopefully he's still. Let's see how he is. They added left guard Nick Alec Peretti. I don't know who he is either. Running back Austin Eckler, safety Jeremy Chin, and in the second round they took defensive tackle Jerzon Johnny Newton. I'm gonna save my opinion later. Either of you two want to go first?
You know what I forget? And then it always blows my mind every time I remember it. You said his name. And it just jogged my memory. Cleveland Farrell.
Yeah.
Was a top 5 pick.
That was the Gruden Raiders years.
Yep. That was
he was picked because he was a team
the Raiders
captain.
still kind of make those kinds of picks every year, most of the time. But that's just insane to me.
Yeah.
How he was a top 5 pick.
No one thought he was, except for Gruden.
Nope. Sure didn't.
I mean, you can only go up, right?
Honestly, I genuinely think this team could be third in this division. Not that it's hard, considering the teams above them are easily first and second. But you just got to beat the other team.
This sure is a 32 NFL team.
But I mean, with their schedule and the other team having the schedule they do, I could see this team coming in third.
This is
their schedule's a lot easier.
I'm not even tired or sleepy or just irritated. This just is an NFL team that might win, but probably won't.
Their team looks better, on paper.
Hey, I will say I did see the person who's not here, as well as certain Packers fan YouTuber, are high on the Commanders and think of them as playoff team. I don't know if I don't know where that is coming from. This is one of the worst offensive lines in the league. That's with a rookie quarterback.
One who is very, as we've all seen him play in college, very Anthony Richardson-esque in terms of how risky, even more so than Anthony Richardson, honestly.
Wow.
Very risky in how he likes to run.
There really are two Maryland teams.
He needs to turn it down.
Yeah, I will say
he doesn't want to get hurt.
I will say Daniels was in the 99th percentile in accuracy for college quarterbacks, but at the same time, he took a sack or scrambled on 48% of dropbacks under pressure. So that was behind one of the best offensive lines in college.
Mike, this man, when he ran, he does not know how to fucking slide.
No, he just takes the
gets
hits.
himself rocked.
My man over here playing Madden.
Which
That's all that is.
He's also a pretty lean quarterback for someone who likes to run.
But I mean, other than the line and his inability to slide when he probably should, I mean, the receiving room's not the best, but it's decent.
It's Scary Terry and no one else.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than what the Giants got. I'm giving that.
The Giants have Malik Neighbors, who And no one else. Actually, yeah, no, there's at least some depth on the
I still like
Commanders.
the depth they have for. I mean, they're not the best pass territory, but I still, like what they have. You got the running room, back room. You got Robinson and Eckler, who hopefully can get.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Eckler was let go by the Chargers because he was washed.
So hopefully Eckler can find something for them.
Nate Cleveland just couldn't meet the pace of the football team.
Shut up.
That's
And
her via the rumor mill and John Harbaugh and then my friend Shiloh at one time.
Jonathan Allen's still decent on the defense, as well as Dorrance Armstrong, Darren Payne,
Like the
Bobby
defensive
Wagner.
line.
If you can remember how to play, the fraction of what he used to be. Like, they've got something on defense. It's not like the greatest, but it's something.
They just need a premier edge talent. Or even one of the edges they traded away last season.
Like, there's definitely more here than there is over in New Jersey. And there's a very kind of middle of the road, if that's being generous, center on the line now.
I'm gonna be honest, I still don't understand why they picked Johnny News in the second round when they could have picked anyone on offensive line. There were still a few people available.
NFL teams are stupid. Sometimes they reach.
Yeah.
Sometimes they reach.
They want best player instead of need, which let's see how that works.
What's Johnny Newton again?
He's a defensive tackle.
Oh.
He's known for being great at I think he was known for being great at pass rushing, but it's run.
He's like the backup tackle. I think they have his other name listed, like Jerson Newton.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I kept when I was looking over draft stuff in that season, I kept on seeing either most people went with Johnny, so it's like I guess that's how he prefers to go by.
All right. Yeah, because ESPN does not have that listed, is why. Gotcha. Kind of cringe, not gonna lie, ESPN.
I will say that this team does have a couple luck factors going in their way because they had a minus 14 turnover margin and a minus 26 sack margin. That sack margin is gonna probably be better just because you don't have Sam Howell, who doesn't know how to not take a sack. Daniel Jones might be the only one who's worse.
I mean, to be fair, with an offensive line like they had, sometimes there's not enough time to get rid of the fucking ball.
Oh, I'm pretty sure Sam Howell was credited for taking the sacks on 80% of the time.
Oh yeah, it's still, but even then, some of the time it wasn't even on him. I will defend that man I'm a little biased because he's my fantasy.
It's Shiloh. It's okay. Put hand on shoulder. He'll ride the pine up in Seattle for a while.
As he should. You can learn from Gino.
Yeah,
you can learn how to be a journeyman quarterback from Gino's.
Yeah, no, it's 7 years.
Don't put that evil on Sam Howell.
When he goes to start for Indianapolis in 7 years, he's like, "Oh yeah, we should have gave him a chance 7 years ago." And then robots are running streak routes on the field.
Shut up. But no, I mean, when he he still had a good chunk of the season where he looked pretty good. So that back half, he kind of.
Sam Howell is Shiloh's Sam Darnold.
Okay, well, I don't know if I'd go that far.
Listen, I also appreciate talking about the poor man's Tim Tebow, but we can move on to another team.
Okay, we're pretty much out of time. So let's go ahead and get out of the NFC East.
South.
And move on north.
Damn it.
Wasn't the South the last one we did?
Yeah. I don't remember.
South is going to be last. But
let's go last. Fuck.
Hey, we're saving the best for last, I guess you can say.
Are we though? Are we?
No, it's you're right. But yeah, let's go ahead and start with last year's winners of the division, the Detroit Lions, who are expected to face the 8th toughest strength of schedule, 6th toughest out of the division, 12 spots tougher than last year's actual strength of schedule. They are the scheduled defenses they're expected to face will go from 17th toughest to 27th. So a lot easier there. Passing defenses are gonna go from 14th toughest to 26th. Pass rush from from 19th to 23rd. Run defenses are going to go from 24th to 13th up still, so hope you're not picking a running back on that team. Schedule of offenses are not going to change too much except for run offenses, which are going to get much tougher from 24th to 11th. They're forecast to win 10.5 games, favored in 13, underdogs in 4, average line of minus 2.5. Coaching staff is head coach Dan Campbell for his 4th year, Ben Johnson for his 3rd year as defensive coordinator, and Aaron Glenn, 4th year of being defensive coordinator. Players that they lost are left guard Jonah Jackson, cornerbacks Cameron Sutton and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and wide receiver Josh Reynolds. And players they added are cornerbacks Carlton Davis, Carrion Arnold with the 1st-round pick, and Enos Rakestra with a 2nd-round pick. They added defensive lineman DJ Reader, and Marcus Davenport, and right guard Kevin Seitler. And this might be one of those teams that has a top 5 offensive and defensive line right now, all of a sudden.
Real quick, just because 1, despite the city of Green Bay, and 2, because I feel like the city of Detroit needs to hear it. Who won the division again? Real quick.
Oh, it was the Detroit Lions.
I will openly say this with my whole heart. I like Jared Goff. He gets the job done.
Hey, he's
Yeah,
not
Good to see the Lions win the division.
Oh yeah, I can
It's
see them
been
winning
been
it
too
again.
long.
Yeah, this is a team that did not get complacent and was like, okay, we see some major weaknesses. Let's go after these aggressively now.
Yeah, they for sure did.
Yeah, I see them finishing around the same, honestly, but that's not a bad thing. They were
Yeah.
what, 12-5? Yeah, I could see them repeating that.
Definitely should have been 12-5, not 13-4. I don't.
Listen, that was
Kyle, I don't know if you reported eligible for that comment.
that was something.
Hey, to be fair, there was a holding call like in the previous thing that didn't get called, so it was a makeup call.
Oh, so you're saying we should take everything away from Detroit? Hasn't Detroit suffered enough, Chilo?
Okay, well, that's not what I'm saying.
And with-
No. I'm pretty sure you're attacking the whole city of Detroit, Michigan.
No,
It
just the
is
Red Wings. Just
wild
the,
that this team is actually considered a Super Bowl favorite after all of the misery they've been through for so long.
Man, imagine going through misery. Shiloh, anything to report on that?
week 6 is gonna suck.
I think they take out all their anger from last year on week 6.
Oh yeah, they will. They will.
The only thing the Cowboys have going for them is that they're coming off their bye, but who knows if that matters.
Oh.
Week 5, really? Oof.
The Lions
That's-
have their bye week 5. What do you mean?
Oh wait. Oh, I'm thinking about something else. Never mind.
That is still insane to me. We're getting bye weeks week 5 of a 17-week season. It is insane to me.
And they want to make it like fucking another week.
They want to make it another week, and like players are just lobbying like, "Hey, can we get 2 bye weeks then?" And they're like, "That's where the NFL's dragging their feet." And they're like, "Well, no." But anyways, yeah, I think this team's gonna be fine. Defense got beefed up, offensive line got beefed up. Running back room is probably still gonna be by committee is the biggest thing. Receiving core, Amon-Ra St. Brown's gonna be fine. What's his face? The other guy, Reynolds, is probably gonna do fine. This is a team that is coached well, and they bring the aggression. I like it. I think they're gonna be fine, and
He's back up.
I really would like to see them in the Super Bowl. If I had to put a team in the Super Bowl right now, it would be them, just off of the want and need to see it is the biggest thing. But yeah, I think it'll be okay, in a good way. Not okay. They go like 4-14 or something, or 4-13, and then they go yeehaw all the time. But again,
Can they wait until after we do it? Because I don't want to hear the Lions made it before we finally made it back. Please. They're going to make it about us when it should be about them.
Listen,
I mean-
the Lions would have made it before a lot of other teams have seen it. So
Yeah, but they're going to make it about us specifically. Like
They would've made it
teams
before-
always do.
listen, they would have made it before the Browns, who haven't seen the
I
championship
was about to
since
say.
the 70s or 60s.
No one's
Yeah,
going to mention that.
what's-
They're going to mention the Cowboys.
what's it like to actually win a Super Bowl in someone's lifetime, Shiloh?
I was 8 months old. I don't know.
Local gay from San Francisco punches down Detroit, Michigan. We now go live to local gay, Shiloh.
I just don't want to have to hear all those shit talk from Lions fans, okay?
They fucking suffered enough, Shiloh. Give
Or
them
the
their 5
entire
minutes.
NFL. All right.
Give them 5 minutes, Shiloh.
Listen,
All right.
Dallas needs to stop calling themselves America's team if they don't want to be the target.
Well, we're
To
the
be-
largest fan base, so we are.
To be fair, I will say they are America's team. They're broken down, sad, and depressing, and everyone doesn't want to look at them anymore.
You know what? Fuck you. You're right. I hate you, but you're not wrong on that one.
Oh, I did want to bring up that Detroit's defense ranked fourth in pressure rate with a 42% pressure rate, but was also 31st in sack rate at 16%. Sack to pressure rate was only 15% for 31st, and they had 41 sacks for 22nd in the league. So they had an issue where they like to blitz a lot, but they were bad at blitzing. So they're probably hoping that a complete defensive line, as well as a hopefully revamped defensive backfield, is going to make things better, because you can't keep that up.
Can I make a quick claim, just real quick? I'll throw my beanie into this race. I want to see Aiden Hutchinson in that Defensive Player of the Year conversation at the end of the season.
Yeah, actually might be.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be too surprised.
Yeah, because he's coming into his, third season?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he'd be fine.
With a bunch of good players around him.
Mm-hmm.
Though, speaking of the Cowboys, it does remind me of one of their other recent additions with the Lions. Jake Bates taking a page out of the Cowboys book, going down to the USFL, grabbing a kicker.
Oh,
And he's been killing it for them in preseason. Absolutely
true.
Nailing it.
What does he do again? Like that player, what position does he play?
Go kicker.
Ah, got it.
Jake
Okay.
Bates.
Yeah.
Because Brandon Aubrey was ours, and guess what he did.
Okay. So they waited, but they mastered that Bates.
God, that's what you were doing. God damn it.
I will also bring up that the Lions have one of the easier opening schedules, as only one of their first 8 games is against a team forecast to have a winning record, and that is the Cowboys game after that Lions bye.
Really? Not the Seahawks or I guess maybe not the Bucks, but like I could see the Rams.
The Seahawks are not considered a playoff team by betting committees right now.
Oh, betting committees. Okay. I could see the Rams though.
Yeah, we'll get to the West in a little bit, but yeah, the Seahawks and Rams are kind of like those borderline teams, but they're probably still going to be tough teams for the Lions. It's just also that the second half is considered the NFL's 4th toughest, and the NFC's toughest is the big thing when it comes to Detroit. So we might see them start off high, and then just kind of like have to batter their way through at the end.
Yeah. That is certainly a back half for sure. Oh boy.
Not the most pleasant of sights for them.
Well,
But, hey, let's see if they continue biting ankles.
It's what they get for playing well.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Except for being a first seed. Right, Shiloh?
Yeah.
Alright, but
Oh,
anything
man.
else you want to add? We have about a minute.
This week 17 coming to Levi's. Oh, that's gonna be a fun one.
Nice reveal.
I would love to see a fist fight week 17, but I don't think we will. I think these teams are going to be too far along week 17. It's the biggest thing. I can't wait to see the battle of the backups, possibly. Unless injuries hit either team and they have to fight for a playoff spot.
I think they might be fighting for a bye week at that point. One of the two
Possibly.
teams.
But again, I think I would give up the bye week for a healthy roster. But again, that's
I
just
would
me.
keep the bye week because that gives you a
It's
much
Detroit,
better
so I
shot
don't-
to get to the Super
We're
Bowl.
gonna do that.
Well-
Detroit's definitely not gonna give up the bye week if they're in that position. It's Dan
Well-
Campbell.
What I mean is, if your team has been dealing with injuries up to that point,
Oh, yeah.
I think I would forego. But again, if it's a healthy looking team on both sides and you need that, we want that bye week, fight for it truly. But again, we will have to wait and see. Is the biggest thing for week 17.
Yeah.
And
the
you
Niners
don't have
might.
to wait for... Sorry?
I see, I was gonna- the Niners might, but because it's Dan Campbell, I don't think if the Lions are in that position that they're going to.
Yeah,
But also, the Niners have shown that also kind of that bye week matters. So
that's true.
Let's move on to the second place team in the division, the Green Bay Packers, who are expected to face the 8th toughest strength of schedule, 6th toughest when you remove divisional games, 12 spots tougher than last year's actual strength of schedule. Strength of schedule defense is expected to go from 17th toughest to 27th, so a massive increase in ease. Passing defenses from 14th toughest to 26th, and run defenses from 24th to 13th toughest. Schedule of offense is expected to go into being top 10 overall, and with passing offense as well. Run offense is going to be 11th toughest after being 24th. Hey, that defense is going to get tested. They forecast to win 10.5 games, favored in 13, underdogs in 4, average line of -2.5. Wait, no, that's the... Why'd it go back to Detroit? My notes just randomly went back to Detroit. Sorry. The Packers are expected to face the 17th easiest schedule, 18th out of the division, 10 spots tougher than last year's actual. Actually, their scheduled defense is middling all the way through to middle, except for run defense, which is going to be the 3rd toughest. Schedule of offenses, we're going to go from the 26th toughest passing offense to the 2nd toughest, with the toughest pass protection schedule. And they're going to be facing the toughest schedule of running offenses out there as well. They're forecast to win 10.5 games, favored in 12, underdogs in 5, average line of -1.6. And their head coach is Matt LaFleur for his 6th year. Offensive coordinator Adam Stenovich, 3rd year. And new defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley from Boston College. Over the offseason, they lost left tackle David Bakhtiari, left guard John Runyon Jr., safety Darnell Savage Jr., running back Aaron Jones, and added safeties Xavier McKinney, running back Josh Jacobs, and drafted Jordan Morgan, offensive tackle, in the 1st round.
Why won't they go away?
I think it's very interesting that it was one of those things where we wanted to see Jordan Love play for a good period of time, especially because, again, he got drafted very high. And then it was the other side of the coin of, like, hey, can Jordan Love actually play? Hey, Jordan Love can actually play. Sorry, football. The Green Bay is not going away unless it was a fluke year. He looks good. That they added on basically. Well, they just paid him, but it might be worth it. Honestly, I don't know if they're gonna be a playoff team, a deep run playoff team, but I think they're building the right pieces. They're putting everything in place, and LaFleur has proven he's been a good quarterback coach / just coach in general. Because again, you were basically throwing a rookie out there. He succeeded. The defense is still pretty good. You of course kind of didn't really lose anything at running back. Let's be honest. You kind of just signed a different version of Aaron Jones. But yeah, I think this team is going to be fine. I kind of hope the receiving room gets a little bit better, but that's a big issue. Their receiving team core was supposed to be okay to good. They were just okay.
Yeah, it's a bunch of wide receiver twos, but it's weird because I think they have like 4 top 50 wide receivers. It's just that none of them are an elite receiver.
Yeah, it's like they're all fighting for number 2, and like someone's like, "Hey, we should take number 1." They're like, "No, all number 2, never number 1."
Honestly, I thought they were all fairly good. At least they could be.
Yeah, but it's
they all showed like that they were very solid, at least for their age anyway.
Yeah,
like Watson's good, Wicks is good, Dobbs is good, Reed is good. It's like for having that many that young, it's ridiculous.
As someone who is a believer in fantasy, just in general, I would love to see Christian Watson make that next step next year. Honestly, to the actual number 1, but we'll see. This is the biggest thing.
It'd be also nice if they could use Musgrave a little more than they do.
They probably will, just because he's a tight end with another year under his belt. Tight ends take a lot longer to develop into professional.
True.
Goddamn right, Nate. Goddamn right.
Alpes is never taking off.
Yes, he will, Nate. Yes, he will.
Your situation's a little different. You just don't like to use your tight end at all.
Whoa. What do you mean we or you?
I
mean Atlanta.
Yeah. There are plenty of nice things to say about the Packers. I like that they took their bye to took the mid-season point to realize what they're doing bad at offense, how they needed to get better at efficiency, better at pacing, be more aggressive about how they handle the offense, making sure to try to be the first to get the ball on kickoff, try to attack deep down the field more often. All of this great stuff. They had to improve their offense from that weirdness at the first half of being amazing down the stretch. I just have worries about their red zone success, where they had a 95% touchdown rate, which would be the best rate for any team since at least 2000, which is bound to regress, unfortunately.
Yeah, pretty sure.
I hope it does.
At the same time, their defense has to face a much more difficult schedule of offenses, and they don't really get to do too much with that side of the their field.
No, God no. They did not. But again, I think it's not unfortunate for a lot of leagues. It's a wait and see type of thing. They could regress. They might get worse. But it's Green Bay, and in my lifetime, they haven't. So,
Well, the GM,
I need it. I need it so bad.
the GM, Guzikun, I believe is his name, has been proven to be pretty good at drafting players, though. So
I
mean,
will say. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, he definitely has an eye for offensive line, where it's I think the youngest line in the league, but it's rated second in pass block win rate and third in pressure rate as well. So Jordan Love is gonna get the steal, right? A lot.
Yeah. I will openly say, based on the last two quarterbacks, I wonder what weird obsession of Jordan Love's we're going to find out in about 10 to 15 years.
I hope it's something okay. Let's hope it's not what the other two got into.
What do you mean, Nate? It's very normal to asterisks here and also asterisks here. Because I'm not going to say it, because last time someone said something, they almost sued someone. Hi, Brett Favre.
Fuck yourself, Aaron.
Do you hope that Favre fares well?
No,
No.
I hate them both for on and off the field reasons.
It's mostly off the field reasons for me. And then Aaron Rodgers just kind of sucks.
All in all, I do feel like this team is more likely to probably end up being second place. I feel like they're going to, as much as they're going to improve in some areas, they're going to fall apart, and some others that keep them probably around the same record they had in 2023. Like, we're going to need to see let the defense take a big step forward for me to believe this team more, because I think I like their offense still. Despite what I said about their touchdown regression coming, that's probably still going to find plenty of other ways to succeed, because it's good offensive-minded head coach, and unfortunately, another good quarterback for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, the problem is if he's not on the field, that quarterback room is gross. Because I have no idea who Sean Clifford or Michael Pratt are.
I mean, granted, I don't really think too much on that, because every NFL team most NFL teams are going to look worse with their backup quarterbacks.
True, but at least some have like decent quarterback backups, like us. So,
Who?
we have Cooper Rush.
Hey, yeah. I
Cooper
love
Rush.
Andy. I love Andy Dalton.
Yeah, Cooper Rush beat Joe Burrow, so we have that.
And
I will
Super Bowl.
always hold that over Joe Burrow, because it's such. I didn't expect that to happen when that happened. It was
yeah,
like-
and Tony Romo was a playoff quarterback. Rata.
well, if only he had a defense, because he never did. Anyway, we're talking about the Packers.
Oh, snap.
Hey, anyone
Get it.
remember, by the way, I did have this in my notes. Remember when, like, week 11, Jair Alexander decided to just pop up for the coin toss, despite not being team captain or supposed to be there, and then tried to decide that the defense would be getting the ball instead? Like, what?
I don't remember that actually.
Yeah, it was a weird thing with him. I think he was having a lot of problems with the coaching staff at the time, if I remember right.
Yeah, probably. Realistically, he probably did.
Alright, we can go ahead and move on from Green Bay at this point, though.
The Vikings, I believe.
God, I wish Streamlabs would let me actually put one. anyways, let's go over to the Okie Dokie Minnesota Vikings.
Whoa. Holly takes offense to that. Hi, Holly.
Right, but yeah, they're expected to face the fourth most difficult strength of schedule. Around 16th out of the division, though. 7 spots tougher than the last year's actual strength of schedule. Schedule of defense is expected to go from the second easiest to fourth easiest. Pass defense is expected to be second easiest in the league. Pass rush schedule, 6th easiest. Run defenses, though, supposed to be the 9th toughest. They have a schedule of offenses expected to go from the 6th toughest to 17th. Passing offenses from 5th toughest to 22nd. Pass protection from 4th toughest to 17th. And run offense from 11th toughest to 4th. They are forecast to win 6.5 games. As of when I marked this down, it might have gone down when Sam Darnold was named starter. They are favored in 3 games, underdogs in 14, average line of plus 2.4. They have coaching staff of Kevin O'Connell for his 3rd year, Wes Phillips as offensive coordinator for the 2nd year, Brian Flores, 2nd year as defensive coordinator. Players that they lost over the season are quarterback Kirk Cousins, edges McNeil Hunter and Marcus Davenport, linebacker Jordan Hicks, and running back Alexander Madison. And in the offseason, they added quarterbacks Sam Darnold and J.J. McCarthy in the first round, who is out for the season after having to get surgery to make sure his meniscus wouldn't bother him down the line. They also added edges Jonathan Bernard, Andrew Van Ginkel, I just like that name, and they drafted Dallas Turner with their other first-round pick. They added running back Aaron Jones, cornerbacks Jack Griffin and Stephon Gilmore, and interior defensive lineman Jerry Tillery. And I was, as much as I don't really believe in J.J. McCarthy as a long-term answer, this team's not exciting with Darnold, in my opinion.
No team is.
This team is going to be very not good, obviously. I really wanted to see McCarthy play because it was that coin flip of in college he really didn't really throw the ball because the running was like he didn't also have to throw the ball is the biggest thing. He got drafted pretty high, of course.
Yeah, conveniently, no one thought of you as the first-round talent until Harbaugh started talking to people at the Combine.
Yeah, and then, of course, he gets drafted. He does well-ish in the preseason. He has to play. Then he gets hurt. I feel like this is going to be a year where you're unfortunately going to have to sit on your hands is the biggest thing. Darnold's not going to lead you to a win, to winning season. The defense is going to be fine. It's getting better. It's the biggest thing. Justin Jefferson, of course, is going to have to lose a year. But it's the nature of the beast. It's shitty to lose a quarterback in preseason, but it happens. I'll still be rooting for Jefferson, of course, my favorite player in the league currently. But outside of that, it's going to be a very low to almost trying to hit the cusp of middle of the road team. But I don't think they will. I think they're going to be bad.
Just look at the schedule and it just makes me laugh looking at weeks 5 and 6. With the fact that the Vikings are playing against those teams, got a little mini Brett Favre tour.
Yeah, I mean,
Packers, Vikings, and then Vikings, Jets.
I know Jefferson and whatever they get out of Addison when he's not gonna be having to deal with issues for his own legal stuff that's going on.
Which, at least from what I've seen, it doesn't look like that's gonna happen because it probably will happen. It doesn't look like that's going to happen this year. It'll probably happen next year when that.
Okay. So they're going to miss T.J. Hawkinson, who's probably out at least most of the season after tearing his ACL and MCL in Week 16 last year. But it's still nice to have 2 really good wide receivers to throw to. Darnold is probably going to do enough to get the Darnold hive to keep on talking about how he could be a starter in the league, who are going to ignore, like usual, the usual Darnold, who is one of the worst 5 quarterbacks in the league. And like most metrics, Darnold also not only being turnover prone on 3rd down, but also leads the league with a 17% interception rate, while also leading with. Oh no, sorry, this is Nick Mullins, who was 17% interception rates and also led with a 72% completion rates on early downs, which was. I don't know. This is weird. But yeah, it's nothing great. Sam Darnold, who can't stand pressure, by the way, will also be facing these defenses, the Niners, the Texans, the Packers, who might have who knows there, the Jets, and the Lions. But you also get to face easier defenses with the Rams, Colts, Jaguars, and Titans. Although who knows about the Titans? Third question. Point.
The Rams wouldn't be on there if they still had 99.
Yep. Yeah, there's fun for this team. I actually thought this was one of the better spots for rookie quarterback to go into. And that rookie quarterback can't play now.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's again, I think they was going into this year, it's like, hey, this is probably gonna be again like we'll try, but it's probably not gonna happen. But he'll get experience, he'll get to face difficult teams and everything, but
Honestly, fuck it. Put Matt Corral in.
no. Ugh. Ugh, have you been drinking? It's 4:00 in the afternoon.
What, do you want Sam Darnold out there?
I don't care who's out there. Just throw Justin Jefferson the ball.
Oh, I'll hand this off to y'all for the next few minutes. I need to.
Okay. So there I was talking to my friend Shiloh about the Vikings.
But
Can we talk about anything else?
Matt Corral's 25. Why not give it to a young quarterback who might do something? Maybe resurrect his. I mean, you're Jaron Hall, who's 26.
Hold on.
Why Sam Darnold, who's already fucked his career?
Hold on. Can I bring up something? Chat.
Yeah.
Don't say anything. Isn't it weird that Nate has two gays on stream and he's wearing an Elton John shirt? Do I have to point that out? Is he trying to fit in with us? Does he think all we do is enjoy?
What the fuck?
Like, does he think that's all we enjoy is just Elton John and kissing boys and girls and all my non-binary and trans friends? Is that what he thinks we enjoy? I just can't believe it. He's just that's what he's talking about. Don't worry, when he comes back, we'll definitely be talking about football.
Football.
Brian, by the way, Brian, if you're still here, are you seeing this? Did you say something to him this morning about walking around that shirt? I'm just
Also,
saying.
can we talk about the Vikings WR3? Jalen Naylor.
Oh, hi, Nate. Nate, welcome back. We were talking about Jalen Naylor and their wide
I'm a
receiver
good
3.
player.
But there's nothing really positive to say about this team. Again, middle of the road.
I will say, last season, Kevin O'Connell proved how good of an offensive line he can actually be. Like, after Cousins went down, after they had to deal with all that weird turmoil, they still ended up being being 13th on offensive EDSR, 14th on third down, 11th in overall efficiency, 10th in passing, and 12th in rushing. Their issue was the red zone, where they were 25th. But these are all good things. Brian Flores, great job with the defense, who didn't really have a lot of great players still left there, as that defense was borderline top 10 and a lot of stuff itself. It's just a shame. It's just a shame.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward. This team's probably going to be more dangerous in 2025, though. If there's not really anything else y'all want to talk about, so I'll just let Vikings fans know. Start looking at games for who you think will be your favorite offensive or defensive lineman, because you need one.
Yeah.
Free Matt Corral.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and head on over to the Windy City after we get out of the city. We're going to go ahead and talk about the Bears, who are expected to face the 4th easiest strength of schedule, 3rd easiest out of division, 4 spots easier than last year's strength of schedule. Special defense is expected to go from 4th easiest to the easiest, with the easiest expected pass defense schedule, 3rd easiest pass rush schedule, and 11th toughest rush defense schedule. Expected to face schedule offense go from 22nd toughest to 8th toughest overall, though. Pass offense is going to be expected to be the 8th toughest. Pass protection expected to be the 4th toughest, which is not great with their defensive line issues. And rushing offense is going to be going from 23rd to 10th toughest. They are forecast to win 8.5 games. Favored in 10, underdogs in 7. Average line of -0.5. They have head coach Matt Eberflus somehow getting his way here for a 3rd year. Offensive coordinator is Shane Waldron, 1st year, former Seattle offensive coordinator. Defensive coordinator, Eric Washington, first year, former Buffalo assistant head coach. Players they lost in the offseason are quarterback Justin Fields, safety Eddie Jackson, wide receiver Darnell Mooney, edge Yannick Ngakoue, defensive lineman Justin Jones, left guard Cody Whitehair, running back Deontay Foreman. Players they added, they drafted Caleb Williams with the first overall pick they got from the Panthers, and with their own pick, they picked wide receiver Rome Dunze. They also picked up wide receiver Keenan Allen, running back DeAndre Swift, safety Kevin Byard, and tight end Gerald Everett, who I imagine is either really just tight end 2 or 3 because of how Cole Kmet was the last 2 years. Hey, let's see if the future is bright. I'm waiting to see on Caleb Williams, but what he's shown with his arm talents in the preseason so far, I feel like it's more likely he's at least on the upper half, the better half of quarterbacks and the professionals in his career. I don't know how great he'll be long term, but I can't tell with just a couple preseason games.
8 games might be overselling it. Like, I get that they made some good additions, but let's calm down. Let's calm down.
I think I'm going to make a bold claim here. I'm going to make a very bold claim. I have to look at the number. Where is it? Oh, you guys keep talking. I just have to find it real quick.
I'm gonna go. Sorry. Find the number.
So, to break the all-time passing record in a single season for the Bears, this man just needs to throw 3,839 yards.
Oh,
I don't think he's going to do it this season, but that is very doable. There's never really been a good Bears quarterback. The greatest Bears quarterback of all time is Jay Cutler. I think the future is very bright here for Caleb. He got weapons immediately. They said, fuck it, fine, we'll get weapons for Caleb. Fuck Justin immediately. I think... I
Got him, baby Justin, with that soft-ass schedule. Caleb.
I think I'll say 9 wins. I don't think it's going to be more than 9 wins. I think
feels like the ceiling.
9 wins feels like the ceiling. I think this is going to be a good team. I think it's going to be a fun, exciting team to watch. But I still think the more experienced quarterbacks, the more experienced defenses will pick up on the rookie tendencies. And I think they will, make the first year rough. But if Stroud can do it, I think Caleb Williams has the possibility to be almost as good.
Speaking of Stroud, he's playing a week 2.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's going to be better than Stroud is the biggest thing. That would be amazing to see, but I think he will be good enough to win 9 games.
Why don't you put that energy out there?
I will say this is probably the best best roster that a first overall pick has ever been given. If your wide receivers are DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, and Keenan Allen, yeah, it's like, oh, okay, Keenan Allen may not be what he used to be, but he's still nice to have as wide receiver 3. Most teams would like him as wide receiver 2. I think you have Cole Kmet, who was weirdly good at times. He's not reliable all the time, but he can be good. It's just that the offensive line is probably just built low, but Caleb's a lot better at getting the ball out quick than Justin Fields was, and probably won't cause the team to have a -20 sack margin like they had last year.
Oh, I should also add another number. This man only has to throw 30 touchdown passes to break their single season record for passing touchdowns by a Chicago Bear quarterback.
If he gets 30 this year, that is breaking the rookie touchdown record for Herbert.
No. I'm just saying, in
down the
general,
line, that's going to be hard next year.
Yeah. Also, Jim Harbaugh is the 10th best Bears quarterback in terms of yards in one season.
God.
That team fucking sucked for a long time, quarterback-wise.
I just looked at another thing, by the way, for that sack margin, just to show how bad Justin Fields was at avoiding them. The Bears' offensive line was credited by ESPN as being the 5th best in pass blocking and the 2nd best in run blocking. Wow! Man, I feel even worse for Pittsburgh right now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Shiloh, anything you want to add?
Not really.
This is
Shiloh.
going to be a little wild. I know there was a lot of talk, by the way, for their defense last year as improving in the second half. But in the second half, they were also getting a lot of turnovers. So it's not exactly a stable thing to consider a defense by. And they still don't exactly have a great line, a great pass rush, which they really need. That's why they try to get Judon. That's why they keep trying to find other edge rushers. Why they tried to get Brian Burns, but they didn't want to pay him like extra money beforehand to get the contract situated. It's just a lot of weirdness. Like, oh, no, not Brian Burns. It was another edge rusher that I think that he got by the side of down here. Just yeah, I think this defense is probably gonna end up being around the same terribleness as getting pressure that they had last time. But hey, at least they have Jalen Johnson. Who came out of nowhere to be a good cornerback 2 years in a row.
Yeah, but again, I just think this is probably one of the most exciting teams to watch this year, at least right now. And you just don't know.
Why did it have to be the Bears, though?
Yeah.
I win.
Oh yeah.
I
Hey,
win.
the Bears might finally have their savior. And let's
Do
see
they
if
have
this
to,
is the
though?
best case where this is the NFC's Mahomes or not. That's definitely going. I know some
All right,
people are
let's-
saying
let's
that, but that's
pump right.
definitely too much. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm hoping Chicago actually does have a quarterback. It's sad. This team needs one. It's sad they haven't had a good quarterback in ever.
Pretty much, yeah. And this is a Super Bowl winning team back in the day, too.
Back in the day when they were flying on the bridge. Their all-time great defense. Was that their Super Bowl? Yeah, I know we have another couple of minutes to go.
We're showing all these Chicago things on your stream, and you're not showing the best thing about Chicago, Mallory Swanson, gold
Sorry.
medal winning soccer player.
Sorry, hey, I might have also just be reusing the same things from last year, which is going to be a bit weird when I get to the NFC South and I have the UPS truck for the Atlanta.
Pride of the Chicago Red Stars.
I know of Mallory Swanson. I hear her husband plays baseball very poorly. You piece of shit. You deserve to leave, Dansby. Fuck you.
He wanted to go be with his wife. All right.
I don't blame him for wanting to be with his wife. But maybe after you win a World Series, you don't bail on us, you garbage human being. I'm proud of your wife for winning a gold medal. But I spit on you, sir.
Alright, well, yeah, we can go ahead and move on from the north. And let's go ahead over to west. Oh. Let me close off the north. There we go. Gosh,
We talked about this team. Bro.
and we're going to go ahead and start with the team that lost in the Super Bowl. We're going to start with the San Francisco 49ers, who are expected to face the 19th easiest strength of schedule,
Of course
third
they
toughest out of the division. Same difficulty as last year's strength of schedule. So now they really don't have a lot of changes on their schedule of defense. It's about the same difficulties there, except for run defense, which goes from second easiest to 16th. Schedule of offenses will go from 15th toughest to 4th toughest, though. Pass offenses from 22nd toughest to 7th will face the strongest schedule of pass protection, and run offenses are going to go from 10th to 6th toughest. They are forecast to win 11.5 games and favored in every single game. They have an average line of minus 5.1. About half the games that will be played with less rest than their opponents, which adds up when it gets to the cumulative side. They have 3 short week road games, 1 game off a road Sunday nights or Monday night game. But yeah, coaching staff, they have Kyle Shanahan, 8th year as head coach, who also calls the plays on offense, and new DC, Nick Sorensen, who is their former defensive assistant coach. Players that they lost in the offseason are, let's just say their defensive line, except for Bosa, because they lost defensive linemen Eric Armstead and Javon Kinlaw, and they lost edges Chase Young, Cleveland Farrell, and Randy Gregory. Players that they added are defensive lineman Malik Collins, edges Leonard Floyd, and Peter Gross-Matos, and linebacker Devondre Campbell, as well as drafting wide receiver Ricky Purcell in the first round, which pissed off Ayuk apparently. So who knows what happens to Ayuk? I was
You know
gonna
who else
say
is
worry
well?
about Trent Williams as well, but it sounds like it's just a Joe Thomas treatment there in his later years. Like, yeah, he's 36. He knows the offense. He knows what he's doing. He's just gonna relax instead.
You know who else is pissed off? I didn't really piss him off, but it made him upset. It annoyed CJ Stroud because CJ Stroud really wanted Pearsall.
Yeah.
Hey, Brand Ayuk still pending. I don't think it's gonna happen. It's still pending.
He's a Niner. It would have happened by now.
Oh yeah, he would have been traded by now.
Yeah, no,
It's only
I
50%
know.
getting traded now. Oh, and
What I
back
He might
when-
get maybe around like deadline time, but at this point, at least for the foreseeable future, he's a Niner.
What I think it honestly is at this point is, I'm not saying the shit's scripted, but back-to-back years we faced the 19th strength of schedule. You very much want to see this team hold a Super Bowl, but they
Yeah.
just can't get over that fucking hill for some reason. I don't know. It feels like they've reached the Super Bowl and they just kind of forget how to play football, which is surprising. It didn't help that what's his face
Super Bowl
did get
29.
hurt-
Super Bowl 29.
did get hurt in the Super Bowl. I'm blanking on his name.
Greenlaw.
Greenlaw, yeah, it didn't help that Greenlaw did get hurt in the Super Bowl and he's gonna be out all year. This is the biggest thing.
Yeah, or at least
Um,
majority of the year.
Majority of the year, he'll be back by playoffs,
Yeah.
but still,
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
maybe. But again, it's hard to be like this team is gonna regress unless Brock Purdy doesn't actually have the protection he needs. This team's gonna be fine. It's Shanahan. He's gonna get to the dance and choke away everything. I have to agree with Shiloh on that. They're not going to win the Super Bowl probably in our lifetime. If they do, it's going to be a miracle or Satan. Mix of both. But yeah, I also, again, I know I said this, I would like to throw Fred Warner into possible defensive player race, but we'll see.
He's not winning as a linebacker.
No, I know, Nate. I would like to see him win is the biggest thing. Shiloh, would you like to add anything? You are from the area.
Levi sucks. They should have never left Candlestick, but I understood what they have to. Also, why are we tearing down Great America? And it's nothing to do with the Niners at all. It pisses me off because it's right next to the stadium. Ugh, I'm gonna move.
I will say. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, God. Christian McCaffrey's already hurt, and it's fucking.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
he'll be back.
That
week one.
the team needs to like stop getting their running backs hurt because it's just like that entire like running back room falls apart so often.
Hey, last year was the first time Shanahan 49ers was not a top 10 most injured team. We're actually the fourth healthiest team.
Honestly,
Yeah.
a lot of it is the grass, or I don't even remember if it's grass or not. I forget, but like the field on Levi's, and I know this because like the Quakes will have to play there because they play LAFC there whenever they have home games against LAFC. The grass there sucks. It always has.
I will
That
also-
stadium sucks.
I will also say that it didn't help that I believe the strength and conditioning coach left San Francisco, went to another team, and they lost 2 starters in the span of 30 seconds since he arrived.
They didn't need new like conditioning coaches genuinely.
Yeah.
I'm also going to go ahead and add that while this offense was probably the best in the league and was top 5 in a lot of metrics, they did bully some bad defenses to get some of those marks as well. And this team wasn't all that hot when it came against like top 10 defenses. Losing to the they lost to the Browns in week 6, who missing a lot of their starters as well. So that's the thing of like, oh yeah, the Niners lost Trent Williams and they lost CMC that game too. The Browns had only half their starters too, though. So, so now the 49ers also lost. And since that loss, the only team that they played on the way to the Super Bowl with a top 10 defense though were the Ravens, and they lost to the Ravens, 33-19. And they played 4 top 10 pass defenses overall with the Steelers, Browns, Vikings, and Ravens, and only beat the Steelers as Brock Purdy had a 5-8 touchdown to interception ratio. But hey, this season they only faced probably like 4 teams that'll have a top 10 pass defense, so it's not that bad. their issue is going to be some rest issues that might build up. As from week 7 on, they have the 4th toughest schedule and are at a disadvantage against over half those games. As they have week 7 versus Kansas City, who are coming off their bye, week 8 versus Dallas, who are coming off their bye, week 11 versus Seattle, who are coming off their bye, week 13 versus Buffalo, who are coming off their bye, week 14 versus Chicago, coming off a mini bye, week 18 versus Arizona, coming off Monday Night Football, and yeah, that can add up. While if it was just a scattered amount, it wouldn't matter too much. All of that together might impact it, though.
Like the fact that we're coming off the bye and playing them before they have theirs is just, that's my only hope. We're gonna lose that game, but it's my only hope that we can pull off something there.
We're gonna lose that game. I believe in you.
I don't. Not against the Niners.
Well, you're gonna have to count on if Trent Williams is up or not, because they also had their offense plummet in like its abilities when he was off the field. He is much more of their cornerstone than CMC is. More that is it Kyle Juszczyk that is their fullback?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Kyle Juszczyk is also oddly one of their cornerstones because no team
don't
uses
know if I would-
fullbacks as much as they do.
I don't know if I entirely agree with that. I mean, obviously he's as big of a piece at minimum. But I don't know if I'd put him over CMC. Like, 'cause they're both obviously very vital pieces to how that offense runs. But just like still, that offense could do so much, and just with what we've lost on our offensive side of the ball, that game's gonna suck. But like, yeah, and stopping this team is going to be hard to do, at least in the regular season. And the postseason, they'll either in the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl. In the divisional round, if the rest of us are lucky, they'll fall apart. But like, this is such
I think the Niners are likely to win their division, likely to win at least one.
Well, I don't
playoff
think
game.
any. There's definitely
But-
a chance to lose the division, but like, I don't see them doing it.
Yeah,
It's going to be a while before anybody else does.
I just see this team being good, but also taking a step back myself, honestly.
It won't be in the standings wise, but maybe like statistically, sure. It's more just like teams they have in front of them. They'll still be one of like the top teams fighting for a bye week, for sure.
I can see it. I'm still in there until the end of the season.
Oh, especially man, that opening is just like, they do have a couple of difficult games in there, but like it's so easy that first like 6 weeks. Yeah, like Seattle always fights hard, but like they'll beat Seattle. The Rams they always beat the Rams, even if the Rams are good.
And speaking of which,
Yeah.
it's time to go over and check out the Los Angeles Rams, who are expected to face the 18th easiest schedule, 19th out of the division, 9 spots easier than last year's actual strength of schedule. Schedule of defense is expected to go from one of the easier ones at like 6th easiest to 16th. Run defense is going to be from the easiest to 15th toughest. The pass defense is going to go from the 12th toughest to the 5th. So it's opposite on those ends. Schedule of offense are going to stay the 3rd toughest, most likely. And like with top 5 pass offense and run offense schedules as well. They are forecast to win 8.5 games, favored at 11, underdogs in 6, average line of -0.8. They have found a coaching staff, Sean McVay, for his 8th year as head coach. 2nd year offensive coordinator, Mike LaFleur. 1st year defensive coordinator, Chris Shula, who is their former linebacker coach. In the offseason, they lost Jordan Foyer, their safety, as well as running back Royce Freeman, and not really anyone else of note, at least in my opinion. They also added left guard Jonah Jackson, cornerbacks Darius Williams and Tre'Davious White. They drafted Jared Verse in the 1st round for edge, and Brandon Fisk in the 2nd round defensive tackle. I think Fisk is injured and out at least for a few weeks. weeks, if not the whole season. I don't take my word on that, though. I can't remember. Thank you, Puka Nakua, for helping me win fantasy football last season.
Yeah. Brag about it.
I'm gonna lose so badly this year. Don't worry.
Listen, fantasy football is all about prediction, luck, and then
No, he retired.
shut up. Prediction, luck, and then just having the faith that your team might do well, and then you also draft players that very much succeed expectations so heavily and so strongly and come out of nowhere. Wouldn't be the first time a Rams receiver has done that in the past, but
Scrownecker, however the fuck you pronounce it.
yeah, I think this team's gonna be fine. I still think they're gonna be very much a middle of the road team. I know they lost 9-9, which is a big deal. But I think they're gonna be okay. That defense is gonna take a heavy step back though, because the 11 players on offense.
Focus on Aaron Donald, yeah.
Yeah, you're not doubling one player on the field now. Is the biggest thing.
Some of them triple teaming.
Some of them triple teaming. But yeah, I think they're gonna be very middle of the road. I would like to see Stafford build towards his already Hall of Fame career. Yada yada yada. But yeah, I just think this is going to be a very okay team. That's all I really have to say.
It'll be a fun fight for who doesn't get last place in that division. Or third
Yeah,
place.
yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
This is very much unless something happens to the 49ers, it's very much second place, third place, fourth place is the biggest thing.
Second, third, because we know who's getting last.
Do we?
Yeah,
Am I
the other
surprised?
team. The other team's not going to be that good.
Sam Howell's going to be started for Seattle?
Oh, I got some positive things for the other two teams that are going to come up later. But for now, some stuff of notes I put down for here is that the Rams have the most expensive offense and the cheapest defense right now, which is a pretty interesting thing. And hey, that defense's cheapness apparently has been showing in training camps and preseason, which ain't great. This is a team that's going to need to have Stafford play at an MVP level for them to win games.
I know like two of these names.
Hey, it's one of them 26 or whatever year old Jared Burrs. I forget. Maybe he's
No, I only know his name because you mentioned it. So, but so three names. The other two are Byron Young and Tre'Davious White.
Tre'Davious White?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they got him from the Bills because the Bills were like they fucking lost everything. Feels like. Let's see. Do I know any of their backups? Just scroll through their names. No. It's just those two names. Jared Burrs now.
Another tale of two different sides, by the way, is that this team was the healthiest team in the league last season after being the second most injured in 2022. Now, Wild Swing probably going to go back towards the middle this season, unfortunately.
They'll also not have a backup for the first two games, technically.
Yeah,
It's true.
AFC suspended.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, hopefully Stafford can still stay up behind on offensive line that doesn't necessarily have the best players.
They'll
Hey,
have
you have-
walk-off winner Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, something else that might go against this team is that they have 11 games between weeks 3 and 16 against teams that were top 15 pass defenses last year, which is the toughest stretch and schedule for any team. Gonna have to see a lot from Cooper Kupp and Puka Nakua.
Yeah. I would like to see Puka Nakua consistently keep going at the rate he is, but who's to say? Because you're not always going to have Stafford throwing into you, obviously. But we'll see.
Another trend I did see that probably gonna keep on going for this season is that after they had like a losing record at the time, after 9 weeks, 9 games being 3-6, with Stafford at like a career low 59.7% completion rates, they found some ways to kind of like almost go lossless the rest of the season, their only loss being against the Ravens in overtime. As Stafford had to take down how far down the field he was targeting, going from 8 air yards per attempt to 4.9 air yards per attempt. Also targeting his running backs at much higher rates, going from 10.7% to 14.3. He was also targeting his receivers set to a lower depth as well, going from 10.7 air yards per attempt to 6.8. Cup was no longer getting deep balls. He wasn't averaging 13.7 air yards per attempt, but 1.9. This caused his completion rate to go all the way up to 70%. And they also used shotgun a little bit less, but also massively increased their motion rate from 58 to 79%. They try to pull as many tricks as they can, and man, I gotta say, it's a little weird and a little unfair that probably the two best offensive minds in the league are in the same division.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you can't always count out McVay teams, just like how you can't always count out Shanahan teams, just because
We learned that lesson, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did.
Yeah, after we thought that Rams were going to be a bad team last season.
Yeah, they by all means probably should have been, and they just weren't.
Yeah, they just found how to win. They just found what works for them.
Sure. Man, I don't even know how to gauge this team. They're so weird. They'll be middle of the road, but how middle of the road, and in what ways? And it's just, just nothing stands out other than some of their offensive options, and it's only the skill positions. Other than that, it's just I don't know how to feel about anything.
Yeah,
it's it's they've got a new kicker now, Josh Wacardi. I don't even know who that is.
No one pays attention to the kickers unless they're a sickle. Or unless you're hearing about Baltimore's kicker, who everyone knows.
It's true.
I guess I'm a sicko because I like the kickers. Kickers are cool.
I like kickers.
You've also got some with cool names like Matt Gay and Cameron Dicker.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you that this is a weird team to try to think about the overall season. I think their offense should at least be above average. I just worry about that defense so much.
And it's also the Rams running back room, which looking at it as always is just what are we doing here? Can we pick one? Just pick one.
That's just how McVay rolls.
I know, and I don't like it, especially as a fantasy player. I hate Rams running backs.
Oh boy, but yeah, we're out of time for the Rams now. So we're gonna go ahead and head on over to the rainy city, where depression rate is at the highest out of anywhere in the United States, as we check out the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, okay.
Who are expected to face the 16th East. Hey, that's an actual thing. Seattle is literally.
I believe you, but damn.
It's because they get no sun.
Yeah, it's also because the Supersonics left.
No fair.
Yeah, the Seahawks are expected to face the 16th easiest strength of schedule, 10th easiest out of the division. 10 spots easier than last year's strength of schedule. Scheduled defense is expected to go from 30th to 11th. Pass defenses from 19th toughest to 22nd. Pass rush from 27th to 26th. And it's really the run defenses that are going to get more difficult, from 29th to 14th toughest. Schedule of offenses expected to go from 10th toughest to 11th. Pass offenses going to just be middle of the road, not really too much change there. They are facing the third toughest run offense schedule. They are forecast to win 7.5 games, favored in 5, underdogs in 12, average line of plus 1.8. Their new coaching staff has head coach Mike McDonald, former Baltimore defensive coordinator, Ryan Grubb as OC, the former University of Washington offensive coordinator, Aiden Durd as their defensive coordinator, former Dallas defensive line coach. They lost safety Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs. Linebackers Jordan Brooks, Bobby Wagner, and Devin Bush. Left guards Damian Lewis and Phil Haynes. Center Evan Brown, and tight ends Kobe Parkinson and Will Disley. While also adding linebackers Jerome Baker and Tyrell Dodson, who I only mention because they're apparently the starters. Safety Rashawn Jenkins, left tackle George Fant, and defensive tackle Byron Murphy II. They picked in the first round. I'm weird about this team who has gone 8-8-1 against the spread over last season, going 9-8, so just above 500. And over the last 3 years, they are 25-26 straight up, 24-26-1 against the spread. They are 1-1-1 and exceeding the win totals over the last 3 years, and 4-4-1 and exceeding them over the last 9 years. So it is a matter of a coin flip how you feel about this team.
Consistent mediocrity is the best thing I can say about this team. I will say, of course, as we all know, the Russell Wilson trade did pay off. I think it's continuing to pay off. But I think the biggest thing right now is, where's that next step, guys? Where is that next level that you can get to actually be winners again? You were a Super Bowl team for a while. You were a playoff team for a while. Now mediocrity rules the house. Like everyone else has to understand. Like the biggest thing is maybe it's a quarterback issue, maybe it's a team issue, maybe it was a coaching issue. Who's to say? Honestly, I kind of hope it was a coaching issue, but I think we'll have to wait and see for that. And maybe it's a quarterback issue, and we see Sam Howell play this year. It's a good receiving core up there. Nate, this is for Shiloh. I don't think it's gonna happen. I like that team a lot, but again, I just think it's gonna continue to be a 500 team. Maybe squeak over a little bit, maybe a 500-ish, but we'll see.
I know we won't see Howell, but hopefully he can get some, some good knowledge back there, and maybe when Gino's done, and come back, and hopefully they'll have a better line for him, and everything. But that's a future problem. That's not this year's problem. So
it's one of those things where you don't want to root for injury, of course.
Yeah, no, of course not. Because I love seeing Gino do well because he deserves it.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where, like, hey, if something does happen, you would get to see a prospect or player that you want to succeed possibly play. Yeah, is the biggest thing in the world.
You mentioned the whole trade with Russ and everything. Guess what's week 1?
Yep.
Yeah.
Seattle and Denver. In Seattle too.
Yeah.
It's great.
Well, the only issue is he's no longer there. So.
I know, but it's funny. It's funny.
Yeah.
There's no revenge there to be had, but it's just still a weird one.
Yeah.
They
don't play Pittsburgh either. Damn.
I don't necessarily see this as a playoff team, but I do still see them hovering around 500, either on the better or the worse end.
I could see it as a playoff team, but it would be like a 7 seed kind of playoff team.
Yeah. I like their head coach for what he showed as defense coordinator. Like, he should be... I feel like this is a trial year for his defense, as he kind of like goes, who are the people I want to keep, and who are the people that I'm going to be replacing for people that are more suited to what I'd like to do. While on offense, I honestly never didn't pay much attention to the Washington Huskies, so I don't know too much about Grubb. I tried looking him up, and the best I can get is to expect a complete opposite from what Pete Carroll liked, where this is going to be like a pass-heavy team, as the Washington Huskies did lead the college football and passing yards, passing touchdowns, so many passing metrics, while Grubb was offensive coordinator. And apparently he also likes to do a lot of zone stuff. So maybe more creative plays for running backs, and find ways to have tight ends used in blocking in fun ways too. But I'm not sure what to think of. I think it should be better.
About the Washington Huskies right now. I'm still in pain.
Listen, I'm just hopeful that this team doesn't do the weirdness they did last year, where Pete Carroll demanded them to run the ball so much after they got a beefed up wide receiver core. And I hope to see DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith Najigba have great year now. Gino be allowed to throw
Honestly.
more and throw deeper.
Speaking of that the running court, just like what is it with the NFC West and the running back rooms just dying? Because this is another team that just by the end of the season just doesn't have any running backs left.
That has been a heavy issue for a good period of time too.
That's because Pete Carroll always loved running the ball even when it didn't work.
Well, it was also one of the things where I will say a lot of those were unfortunate injuries is the biggest thing as well. It wasn't just like, oh, a hamstring issue or oh, a foot issue or oh, like, you know, an arm issue. It was like severe neck injuries or head issues. It's like
A couple years ago, got so bad they had to like re-sign Marshawn Lynch for a couple weeks.
yeah, it's like again, I don't root for injuries, but I would like to see if the injuries be minimal and not the worst. Like that's the biggest thing.
Some of the bigger issues are probably going to be revolving around that offensive line, which is probably a bottom 5 units in the league. And you have Geno Smith, who gets nervous when pressured, more so than most quarterbacks, averaging just 5.3 yards per attempt when pressured with a 50% completion rate. But that's also better than his backup Sam Howell, who isn't great there and also takes sacks, having accounted for 65 sacks last year. Most of which marked being his own fault.
Speaking of consistent issues with that franchise is that line.
Yeah.
That has been an issue since Russell was there. That says something.
Yeah, I know there was a statement by Mike McDonald that on defense he wants to build a wall that dictates how he gets everything done on defense. I hope he's gonna bring a similar approach on offense and start looking at improving that too. Because
There's
both
been walls
trenches are
that needed
important.
before. That offense has needed one for way longer.
Yeah.
Just protect your quarterback, for the love of God.
Hey. It's a proven thing if you look at Super Bowl winners and their offensive line. What can I say?
It'll also help you with your run game not dying.
Yeah.
And then just the defense is weird too. It's just another one where it's just like it's a lot of weird pieces.
There's good talent there.
Yeah,
but yet, like
sure.
some people just take steps back. Like Woolen took a step back after having an almost defensive rookie of the year performance 2 years ago. It was maybe they're better. Maybe they're going to be coached with smarter schemes. I just feel like this is going to be a trial year still. Yeah. I'm both excited and worried. I can find myself holding either way on this team.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right.
And you got, of course, the was it rookie? I think he was a rookie last year. Whatever. Even if he wasn't, young sensation Jake Bobo. Maybe he can recreate that next year. Maybe they can get lucky in some games.
Yeah. We're gonna go ahead and move on from the seabird to a desert bird. As we go to, I'm gonna go ahead and say this might be one of the teams I have a weird crush on right now. Is the Arizona Cardinals, who are expected to face the 14th easiest schedule, 6th easiest out of the division, 17 spots easier than last year's strength of schedule. Forecast to win 6.5 games, favored in 5, underdogs in 12, average line of plus 2.6. They have head coach Jonathan Gannon for his second year, offensive coordinator Drew Petzing, and defensive coordinator Nick Rallis, also second years. Players they lost are left tackle DJ Humphries, wide receivers Marquise Brown and Rondale Moore. Players they added are left tackle Jonah Williams, cornerback Sean Murphy-Bunting, wide receiver Zay Jones, Ohio State sensation Marvin Harrison Jr. in the first round, and Chop Robinson, who they also picked up early on the draft as edge. This is I like this team for a reason I can't fathom other than a much easier schedule, and the fact that when Kyler Murray was brought in, after his own injury, that they turned into a top 10 offense afterwards. And I'm just excited to see what this looks like later on. I'm also just wanting to say Marvin Harrison Jr. in the league.
I like
Well-
Marvin Harrison Jr. He has a good. His dad was a good player, specifying good player. I think if he's half the player his dad was, he'll be great no matter what. What Shiloh?
Oh, no, I'm just saying, yeah.
Okay. I thought you were disagreeing.
No.
I want this team to be good. I like Kyler Murray, but man, you guys are constantly not giving us reasons to root for you because you'll go on these pretty decent to good runs, and then like either through injury or just losing chemistry, you guys just kind of fall apart.
Go on, bro.
And-
Give us nothing.
Yeah, you reach the playoffs and it's like, yeah, we made it. Lose immediately. Embarrass yourself. Look like a joke, and just like, why are you guys here to begin with? I would like that cycle to be broken. Maybe they win a playoff game this year, but
They won't make it.
they won't make it. I think they're in a slight rebuilding process. Yeah, I don't see them contending, unfortunately. And
Adding MHJ is a start, but there's still way too much. Like that team is still finishing last in the division. Like I understand, like there's a lot positive about it, and they looked better than the record showed for sure. There's still way too many holes with that team.
Yeah.
Way too many.
Again, if they prove us wrong, they prove us wrong.
Also, it's gonna be hard to hit, Marvin Harrison Jr. when Kyler Murray can't see over the line to begin with. I had to get that joke in there once.
Yeah, I mean, the worries about Kyler Murray always persistent. Like, he is injury prone, and
That's
it is the thing, but like, he's actually better as a throwing short than he is. Let's make a joke there. Than he is throwing further down the field. He has a lot of top 5 QB metrics when throwing less than 10 yards, but he is in like the lower 40s out of 44 quarterbacks when throwing further than 10 yards. So it is always a thing of like, you can't expect a close pass game with him. You have to find a way to work like the short game with him instead. And like, by all means, this is not a great roster still. There's a lot of issues, especially on defense. So I'm not saying that I think of this team as a sure-in wildcard candidate or tooth wrestling. I just find them as one of the more exciting teams. I'm getting that same feeling from them that I got from the Texans last year and the Lions 2 years ago.
Just better hope there's no double XP weekends.
Hey, new Call of Duty drops before the season this year, I think. I don't know.
But yeah, that's why there'll be double XP weekends during the season.
Yeah. I really wish that wasn't a thing, but it's proven to be a thing, unfortunately.
It is such a weird thing with them. I know.
It's like the Andy Reid after a bye week type of thing. Like, it's a proven stat, unfortunately. So it's like, I really wish this wasn't a proven stat. It was like kind of a joke. But it's true, unfortunately.
I'm also wanting to say that a good mark of how this offense could probably stay good this coming season is that when I mentioned them having top 10 offense metrics when Kyler Murray was brought out on the field, that was while facing their last 8 games having 5 of those in playoff games.
Oh.
Also, if some of the question mark teams turn out to be good, there's a very real chance like that this team only has like 1 win by week 15.
Oh yeah, it's not a great start for them. Their season
'Cause
starts.
you got like
against,
Washington, and that's it. Because like if Harbaugh can get the Chargers going, that's a loss as well. On top of all the other teams that they're playing, obviously you got the Rams. They're always a good difficult fight. I think the Rams are still a better team. The Bears are one of those like if everything's working for them, there's one there. The Jets, again, it depends on if Rodgers is still healthy at that point. Seattle's kind of an iffy one on both of those games. Obviously Minnesota is, but I feel like Addison and Jefferson can do enough as long as they get the ball to them. It's just that they're not going to be good just because like who they're playing, if nothing else.
Yeah. I did have a take before training camp that I was hoping was going to stick around before some other people started saying this, that the NFC West is sneakily one of the better divisions in the league. And then I started hearing other analysts like me and times other people like, oh yeah, NFC West is actually not bad. It's actually one of the better ones in the league. It's like, God damn it, I can't say this is my hot take anymore.
I don't know if I go that far. It's because you got the two teams above the Cardinals that are just kind of like middle of the road.
It's just a thing of like, you have the Niners and then 3 teams that are going to hover around 500. So which is better than most divisions can say.
I would argue only 2. And then the Cardinals are going to be fighting for a top 10 pick, I would say, because just their schedule is too difficult for me to believe otherwise.
I don't agree. I even mentioned like there's
that's fair.
They have to use your strength of schedule in their division, and it's top 10 if you remove their division games.
It's just because you got a lot of games against like difficult opponents.
Oh, they only they start their season with 6 out of 8 games against possible playoff contenders, and then their last 2 games are at Rams, and then hosting the Niners, and the Niners might be resting their starters.
True, but like even their backups, I feel like could still beat the Cardinals.
Listen, I just heard so much things about like players, not just on the team, but players who faced them, be like, "Yo, that offense is legit. You got to be worried about them."
But yeah, it's also like 6 out of the teams could be possible playoff things out of that first 8, but like Harbaugh could have that team going. Even with as little as like it seems like they have. And then there's Washington, Washington.
Woo, Washington.
Washington is there.
Woo, Washington.
But I guess I can have my hot take on the NFC being that I think the Cardinals are a borderline playoff. Since that seems to be a hot take.
I know that's fair. I could see it happening. I don't believe it will, but it wouldn't entirely. With the teams that they do have that could go games either way, and it being the NFC and usually those last like 1 to 2 playoff spots, usually with how the NFC ends up being, wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world. But yeah, that's fair because it's not as hotly contested as like the AFC is, where it's like there's just so many good fucking teams in the AFC.
Yeah. Whereas the NFC has like a couple, the NFC has a couple of top end teams, and then it's just a lot of middle ground before you get to the shit.
You've got like the division winners, and not even all the division winners are that good. You've got like 2 teams that should be division winners with like the Cowboys and Eagles, and then you have the North. Well, I guess you could technically say 2 now in the North too. So. Yeah, 4 or 5 teams that should be playoff teams, and then the rest.
Yeah. It wouldn't be weird if the NFC brought a 7th seed that was 8 and 9, honestly.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I don't know which team that would be. It might not even. By all means, the Cardinals probably be looking out, being like, "Why couldn't we get that last win to get in?"
Why couldn't that be us? Damn it!
Yeah, it's a lot weird. I'm excited for it in a way. But let's go ahead and move on from the NFC West as I go to a team I am not excited for at all as we go into the South and check out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are expected to face the 12th toughest strength of schedule, 5th toughest out of the division. Same difficulty as last year's strength of schedule. Their scheduled defense is expected to go from 11th toughest to 18th. Pass defenses from 15th toughest to 10th. Pass rush from 28th to 25th toughest. Run defense from 3rd toughest to 22nd. Hey, you might be able to do that running game that your coach loves. Your scheduled defenses are going to be going from 12th toughest to 15th. Pass offenses from 5th toughest to 16th. Pass protection from 6th toughest to 21st. Run offenses from 15th toughest to 23rd. Forecast to win 8.5 games, favored in 8, underdogs in 9, average line of plus 0.9. So now they have 1 short week road game, 2 games off of Sunday night or Monday Night Football. Their bye week is negated because they're facing the Giants, who are also coming off their bye. They have Todd Bowles returning for his 3rd year as head coach. New offensive coordinator Liam Cohn, who's the former Kent State offensive coordinator. And or is it Kansas State? I just remember seeing it. Defensive coordinator Casey Rogers here for the third year. The offseason, they lost cornerback Carlton Davis, center Ryan Jensen, edge Shaq Barrett, linebacker Devin White, left guards Matt Filer and Nick Leverett. And they added in the offseason safety Jordan Whitehead and drafted center Graham Barton in the first round. This team is the easiest one to predict a regression. This team is the easiest one to predict falling on their face.
We don't need to mention Graham Barton, okay? That one still hurts me. My second favorite team taking the player I wanted my actual favorite team to draft. Oh, it hurts.
This team's offense was 29th in early down success rate, 23rd in red zone, 22nd in overall efficiency, last in rushing, but somehow 8th on third down and 11th in passing.
Listen,
Defense-
there is one thing and one thing only I need from this team, and that is Mike Evans and 1,000 yards. Other than that, I don't care.
Johnny, do you want to, Shelly, you have more things before I continue to eviscerate this team?
I like that they gave Baker Mayfield a chance to get into the playoffs and playoff win. That's it.
They beat the Eagles. It was funny.
Well, and I will say, I'm very happy Mike Evans has been consistently good, like genuinely consistent and genuinely good. Anything else after that? Not really. It's like that's about it. That's the two brightest spot. That's the two biggest spots that I can think of. Oh, is that Izzy? Hi, Izzy.
It is Izzy, yes. I mentioned that because I had my Steam notifications pop up, and like as we started talking about Tampa, Izzy got an Izzy notification. Like at that moment, it's like perfect timing. The
Yeah,
other
that's-
Tampa fan.
Yeah, that's the biggest two things I can think of. Like, I also think they are going to regress.
No, yeah, for sure. They should have last year. I don't know how they didn't.
Because that division was trash last year.
True, yeah.
They're going to be
But
trash.
even then, they
this year.
still didn't like regress entirely.
Yeah.
They did in some aspects, but like they didn't in others. It's just they should have been a lot worse than they were, and they weren't. But it should happen this year. Hopefully, Kate Otten still looks well because he looked decent for what he was. Need Godwin to not have a repeat of last year would be nice.
He just didn't seem to show up last year at all.
Yeah, exactly. I need him to actually be there. I don't know how to feel about the rest of the receivers because it kind of is just the two-man show. The rest of more because I think they forget they have other receivers. I mean,
Yeah.
when you have like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, do you need anybody else?
Hey, shout out to Tristan Wirfs moving to the other side of the line and still being a top 10 tackle.
Yeah, and he's like, fuck it, I'll flip it. And then,
A shame
Okay,
that the rest of
well-
the offensive line is trash.
yeah. Nate, do you have any other thing negative
Oh,
to
okay.
say about Garrett?
In the regular season, this team went 1-6 against teams that were ranked 14 or better in total efficiency. They were 1-5 against playoff teams, 8-3 against teams that missed the playoffs, 0-5 against teams with at least a 53%
sense.
winning percentage, 6-1 against teams that finished below 500. This team went 0-3 in games where they did not take a single takeaway. This team went 2-7 in games the opponent scored 18 or more points, and 1-6 if the opponent scored over 20 points. They love to do running, as so many Tampa Bay fans know, despite the fact that the running backs ranked last in yards per carry at 3.4, 31st in EPA per rush, 31st in explosive run rate, 31st in yards after contact per carry. And if you look at Rachaad White, who helped me in fantasy, but he, out of 49 running backs with 100 rushes or more in 2023, was 48th in early down success, 44th in EPA per rush, 42nd in explosive run rate, 42nd in yards after contact per rush, and 40th in yards per carry. But that's because of an issue that the Carolina Panthers are going to see with David Canales' style offense, where he thinks that running more often is going to somehow magically improve your yards per carry. He literally said he thought they were going to go from 3.7 yards per carry in 2022 to 4.7 just if he managed to get the ball run more. They went to 3.4 last year. And then you have Mayfield, who had a magical year where everything clicked. Or, that's how things were talked about. out of 48 quarterbacks with 100 or more attempts on early downs in the first 3 quarters where all these actually matter, he was 42nd in accuracy, 30th in EPA per attempt, 29th in yards per attempt, 33rd in completion rate, 18th in touchdown to interception rate. And on 3rd and 4th downs, somehow 6th in accuracy, 6th in EPA, 9th in yards per attempt, 4th in completion rates, 13th in touchdown per interception ratio, which cannot be sustainable. That is impossible. You can't be
Money
terrible on the first 3
hunter.
downs, but good on the
Wow.
last all the time. That is so weird.
Yeah, football's not supposed to make any sense.
I know. I'm thanking Mike Evans for that offense actually running.
If football made sense, the money the Cowboys had would have won them a Super Bowl at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, also, as much as I say this is the easiest team to see regress, but this division, that probably means 2nd place.
I mean, with the other team,
Probably.
no, the Saints are still there. They'll be 3rd place.
Unfortunately.
So it'll probably be Falcons, Saints, Bucks, Panthers. And, so
I did just go on my
I
own
want
pick
to
there.
I want to have the Copian. I'm sorry, Johnny.
What?
I
Huh?
want you guys to win it so bad.
It was. Listen, I watched our quarterback play last year. We had no reason to be even in the division last year.
Well, it's better than the team that's gonna finish last again. At least.
Yeah.
True.
Oh boy. Hey, also, Shiloh, I have no attachments to this team. I'm probably not going to be getting to play in fantasy, but I am looking forward to another 1,000-yard season with Mike Evans. He had 10 in a row.
He's legitimately my favorite player in the league right now.
Just
It's-
consistent.
It's one of those things where he's weirdly, not weirdly, but it's he's trying to catch a record I'd never thought I'd see broken by Jerry Rice of all players, and he could do it realistically.
I'd honestly say I loved him more than any Cowboys players.
Yeah.
One, because some of the players that are big name on the team are just some of the things they've done in the past, very much not the best. And also just the others just have issues. They're weird. I don't know.
I do also see this as Todd Bowles' last year as coach because being
Please.
a defensive-minded head coach, he has continued to produce bottom-half defenses, despite trying to get some talent there as well.
And this
And
team,
it's-
while finishing over 500 a couple times, it shouldn't have. So, things need to change.
Very much so.
I don't know. I don't want to be too negative about this team, so again, I like Tristan.
I don't mind
I
it.
like Mike Evans. Those are 2 players that are gonna probably still be good for you.
Rashad White, as much as people are high on him, sometimes I don't see it.
I mean, I just put out the stats to show he's actually not good.
Yeah, no.
It was a volume thing for him.
Yeah, I think he was top. I think he was number 2 in the league last year, if not number 3. He had it didn't really help. He just got volume. It was it didn't show.
It didn't in the slightest.
All right, let's go ahead and let me have you ask y'all if you like jazz. As we go ahead and have our own Mardi Gras with the New Orleans Saints. Sorry, the New Orleans Saints. We're expected to face the 6th easiest strength of schedule, 16th out of the division, 5 spots tougher than last year's actual strength of schedule. Schedule defense is expected to go from the 10th easiest to the 2nd easiest. Pass defense from the 5th easiest. It's expected to be 5th easiest. Pass rush schedule, 13th easiest. Run defense schedule expected to go from 5th toughest to 5th easiest. Schedule of offenses is expected to go from 2nd easiest to 30th. No real changes on the offenses they're facing, really. They are forecast to win 7.5 games, favored in 6, underdogs in 10. An average line of plus 1.2. They have more games with less rest than their opponents than they have games where they have more rest. They have 2 games coming off the road, Sunday night for Monday night game. For the coaching staff, you have Dennis Allen as head coach for the 3rd year. Offensive coordinator is Clint Kubiak, 1st year, former San Francisco passing game coordinator. Defense coordinator is Ryan Nielsen for his third year. In the offseason, they lost wide receiver Michael Thomas, safety Marcus May, and quarterback James Winston, while adding edge Chase Young, linebacker Willie Gay Jr., and tackle Taliese Fuaga in the first round. We'll say that's this team that had the easiest schedule in the league last year and went 9-8 as my starter.
This team sucks. Fuck them. This team is such an annoyance, and this is not even like band of like, you know, rivalry thing. It's just such an annoyance because they constantly abuse the cap in the most egregious ways. It's so annoying. It's like
It's catching up to them now.
yeah, it's catching up to them now finally, but like for several years, it was just an annoyance. This team is, of course, progressively getting worse a bit. Michael Thomas, I will say, is not a loss. He was like
barely did anything.
he was. It would be a loss 3 years ago. That's the biggest thing. 4 years ago. Now it's nothing. He's not going to be on a team next year. He's probably done realistically. Derek Carr, again, with the easiest schedule, this team could barely scratch 500, or they didn't. You said what, 9-8 or 8-9?
Yeah, they went 9-8.
Yeah, 9-8. They could barely scratch over 500 with the easiest schedule, and have not half of their games, but like half of their games were in their division games. It's the biggest thing. It's very sad and depressing that this team consistently has to be around a winning record. When I think what would truly help them, genuinely, I'm thinking not only talking positive of them, would be to lose, would be to rebuild, would be to give up for a few years and truly rebuild this team, because you keep using the same bottle of Elmer's glue that you've been using and it's not working. You need to truly step down for a bit, rebuild, retool, get better, get a young quarterback. I don't hate Derek Carr. Get younger at the positions that are necessary to get younger, and then try again in a few years. Because again, this division is going to be bad for a little bit, or it might be good in a little bit. But right now, 3/4 of the team are basically rebuilding, or half the team is rebuilding. If you want to add yourself, 3/4 at that point. But yeah, just take a step back for a bit. This division's not going anywhere anytime soon.
What? Oh, sorry. Spaced.
Oh.
No, I was still listening, but I just spaced while I was. But yeah, no, it's this team should have definitely done better, and some of it I think was Carr got hurt right last year, if I remember correctly.
No, I don't think he actually got hurt. I'm pretty sure he was healthy all the time.
I think he was healthy the entire time, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, but then it's just Carr, for some reason, just decided to not play football properly, and I don't know, who knows why. But they should have ran away with the South, and they just didn't.
Very much so.
He's
The only bright spot on the team is Olave, because I don't want to mention the other player that does decently well, because fuck that guy.
What do you have against Jamal Williams? Jamal Williams.
I'm talking about the other running back. And
Hey,
Jamal
by the
Williams,
way,
no, the Jamal Williams doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything at all.
yeah. I mean, that running back you don't want to mention, by the way, had career lows of 3.9 yards per carry, 5.6% explosive run rates, and 2.51 yards after contact per rush. And he's entering his age 29 season. By the way, the Saints spend more money at running back and tight end than anyone else.
I hope he has more career lows this year. That's what he gets.
Yeah,
I just would rather him lose money than lose yards. So
this is a team I don't really have a lot of things to say about, but because
they'll still win a decent amount of games is the unfortunate. They're not gonna win the division by any means, but they'll still be fighting for a wild card. They'll probably lose out on that fight, but they'll be fighting for one.
I think this is a team ready to hit 5 or 6 wins more than a team that might go into the playoffs.
Oh, they're not going to
trust
they'll
Derek
be
Carr.
fighting for the playoffs.
I think Derek Carr is a bottom 10 quarterback at this point in his career, and he showed it last season.
Yeah.
I like that they're bringing a Shanahan/Kubiak system in. So, the hope is things will look a lot nicer. I don't think this team has the talent to fully get such a system working. And it doesn't help that they can't really afford better pieces because they are feeling like the effects of pushing the money down the line so much that they actually have to lose key players and they can barely afford to bring in backups now.
Well,
Like you mentioned already, like Derek Carr really only has maybe Chris Olave to throw to. It's tough to trust anyone else. Like, this is a team that spends the most money on tight ends. Can any of you name a tight end on this team?
Juwan Johnson.
Cool. Is he top 10?
Oh, top 10? Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Because he's technically listed as a tight end, and he's not top 10, but, for what he does, I will consider him top 10. Taysom Hill.
Oddly enough, this offense is at its best when Taysom Hill is used in the red zone.
But I do know the other two, because there's Juwan Johnson and Foster Moreau, because I only know him that he's there because of the Raiders.
I think this is the team that is going to be fighting with for third, trying to be like second or third place, most likely in the end. I don't think of them as a playoff team at all. I'm down on the Saints.
I mean, like I said, they'll be fighting for a wild card spot, and they'll lose out on that fight for sure. I don't have that in my mind about that. But they'll be in like one of the teams in the mix for a good chunk of the season. And when you get to the later stages of the season, they'll be out by the time you get to the end of it. So they'll have their name in the mix for a little bit, and then it's just they'll fall apart.
But don't worry, people are going to continue talking about how Derek Carr used to be a clutch quarterback with the Raiders. Even though it's a thing that getting game-winning drives isn't exactly the only thing a quarterback needs to be able to do. You need to be able to win the game without having those as well.
Yeah, well, they say the opposite thing about certain quarterbacks that were a lot better at game-winning drives. They wore the star. Dak Prescott and Tony Romo, by the way.
Drew Bledsoe?
He was here for like a year or two.
Vinny Testaverde?
You see, a lot of teams have quarterbacks.
I always forget he was a Cowboy.
It's normal. Only one or two are gonna stay behind the starter. One of the famous Jameis Winston. But yeah, there's not really anything else to say about the team.
Hope you
like
like
a team where someone might have a lot to say, though.
I really hope you like that pull, Shiloh. I think that was a deep bag pull of Quincy Carter.
All right, let's go ahead.
Don't say that name out loud to me.
Let's go to Atlanta, where the Falcons are expected to face the easiest strength of schedule, 50 easiest out of the division, which is actually about the same strength of schedule they had last year, not really too much changing. The schedule of defense is expected to stay easy, going from 8th easiest last year to 30 easiest expected this year. Pass defense is from 4th easiest to 15th easiest, and rushing is expected to be the easiest. Schedule of offenses expected to go from 30 easiest last year to predicted 6th easiest. Passing offenses going from 30 easiest expected to 14th easiest, and rushing staying easiest. So it's the same on both sides of the ball, where passing is going to get tougher to handle, but running should be easier. They are forecast to win 9.5 games, favored in 13, underdogs in 5, average line of minus 1.8. They have new head coach Raheem Morris, the former LA Rams defense coordinator. New offense coordinator Zach Robinson, former Rams quarterback coach, and new defense coordinator Jimmy Lake, the former Rams assistant head coach. Players they lost are defensive lineman Calais Campbell, edge Bud Dupree, cornerback Jeff Kuda, tight end Johnny Smith, running back Cordero Patterson, wide receivers Matt Collins, Van Jefferson, and technically Rondale Moore, who they just got, but he got injured and is out of the season now. They also lost center Matt Hennessy and quarterback Desmond Ritter, which good riddance for them, I guess. Players they added are quarterbacks Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix Jr. in the first round. They added wide receiver Darnell Mooney, safety Justin Simmons, edge Matt Judon. Those last two just within training camp. Take it away, Johnny.
We reached in the first round. We reached so fucking heavily that I think Penix would have been there in the second round. I hate this team with a fiery passion, but I have to root for them because I live here. I want them to be winners. I think they're going to be winners. I willed into existence that stupid fucking quarterback at 36 years old to come here. Bums me out. Nate can attest to this. I drafted Kirk Cousins, made my whole thing Big Kirko. He gets changed. What happens? He comes here. He's coming off injury. I hope we do well. I love this team and hate this team. I just don't think we're gonna do well. Prove me wrong, Atlanta. Prove me wrong. I think Drake London is hopefully gonna be a 1,000-yard receiver. That shouldn't be asking for much. Truly. Kyle Pitts should be a good tight end. I don't think that's gonna happen. He should. Bijan Robinson was confirmed recently through training camp that he's going to be splitting the backfield carries a little bit.
What?
Yep. We're going to be splitting the backfield. It's very stupid.
That is...
I need you to cut Bijan Robinson right now and let us have him because fuck you.
Yeah, no, it's genuinely stupid that we're wasting talent. We're drafting in the first round. And the guy that was mostly doing it, who's complaining...
in the first place.
The guy that was complaining, fun fact about what's his face up in Pittsburgh now. Have fun with he complains that you're not using your top players because people are thinking, oh, you just want them to be used because of fantasy. We want our top players to be used because they were drafted highly. Not that we just want them to be good in fantasy. If they're doing good in fantasy, it means they're doing good overall. I think this is a good head coach hire, though. Raheem Morris, of course, was an interim coach here, and he did have a winning record before he left. That's kind of probably why he got the job up in LA. I have hopes, but the hopes are hopefully 9 wins, and that shouldn't be a high bar. Kirk hopefully has some step in his throws still. I very much hope we don't have to rely on Penix, just because as much as he is a left-handed quarterback, and I love me some lefties, and injuries also kind of make him a big worry. But yeah, if you guys want to talk the rest of the time, you can. I'm not going to stop you.
It's like, do you guys want anything for Bijan? Because we need a running back, and as a Texas player, I would love to have a Texas running back on my team. I love Bijan so much.
I very
great player.
I very much want to see these players succeed, and if they have to go other places to succeed, I wouldn't be upset about it. Nothing against Algier, who was a 1,000-yard back. Please rely on Bijan. We just drafted him. We have to get him before he's bad, is the biggest thing. But again, I will really say this. I knew from the moment we were picking 8th in the draft, I was like, oh, Dallas Turner, he's the layup. He's the easy pick. We're going to take him. I was like, we're going to take someone stupid. And we were streaming that day. Nate was there collabing with me, and we took someone stupid.
I'm sorry.
Nah, it's fine.
Yeah.
And you did it again the next year.
I
8.
I will say, on a nice way, on quarterback, technically you can only go up, as your situation last year had literally the 2 least accurate quarterbacks in the league. So, someone is going to be able to throw even remotely accurate passes to your receivers. It's just a shame about Moore not being there, because Moore would have helped make the offense more spread out, most likely. But I also have the issue that Kirk Cousins was obviously regressing over his time in Minnesota, and is coming off of a major leg injury. So he's definitely going to be struggling the first few weeks, at least.
Mm-hmm.
But I also,
yeah.
I also don't think he's necessarily going to be a top half quarterback. He might have glimpses, but he's probably going to be on the worst side of things for quarterbacks. But he might, even with that leg injury, even with this regression, he might be the best quarterback in this division.
To be fair,
Yeah.
he's never really needed to be a top half quarterback. He's just needed to be, serviceable, and it's kind of what he's always been.
He's gotten a lot of money from being serviceable, I will
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, and even when with serviceable, he's always been one of the most accurate quarterbacks because like he's not really ever had interception problems, like almost
Mhm.
never, which is like what you would need from any quarterback.
We'll say it's a shame that the first three defenses this team is facing
Oh, yeah.
are the Steelers, Eagles, and Chiefs.
No, because I was thinking on the wrong side of the ball. The Chiefs, because I'm saying that's the best thing for the Chiefs, but no, they are bad at the run.
Yeah, somehow this defense, by the way, was like top 10 last year. It's just a shame they lost some talent, but at the same time they gained some talent. They got a good defensive mind at head coach. Okay.
I think the biggest thing is, again, we were a top 10 defensive team, but the biggest issue we did deal in was
No
we
defense. or no
didn't
offense.
have an offense. We didn't have a quarterback. You should
I think-
have to rely on like Desmond Ritter, Tyler Heineke, insert possible third quarterback there. That shouldn't have been our quarterback room last year. To the people who believed in Desmond Ritter, I get it, but damn, I knew the moment he stepped on the field, it's like, this isn't going to go well.
Hey, last year
under-
I was hoping for just around average, if like top 30 quarterback play. And nope.
Honestly,
You-
though, like past those first three games, other than the Cowboys, it's not that difficult of a schedule.
It's the reason why it's
No.
the easiest schedule in the league.
Yeah, like that's the one thing I'm worried about still. It's just like I understand it's the easiest thing. It's just like, will we find ways to just throw games away is the biggest thing. It's our history of throwing games away. Even before like the choke job in the Super Bowl, we always kind of just threw games away. So we're gonna have to learn how to close out games.
Well, with Kirk, that should hopefully not be a problem because it's kind of his thing. Is he's very much a game manager.
Mhm.
So,
It's
this should be like we said this with like I said it at least with the Saints is this should be a team that runs away with the division with how your guys' schedule looks. We'll see if you do.
I also wanted to bring up that this offensive scheme is going to be a complete reversal. As if this is going to be the McVay system, then you're going to be going from the lowest usage of 11 personnel and highest usage of tight end sets to what McVay likes to do, which is extremely high uses of 11 personnel and low 2 tight end sets.
I very much want to see Week 1 against the Steelers. I want it to be like a 3rd and 4, and the Steelers have the ball. I want to see them run the fucking end around with this third string tight end, and then he gets tackled, and I just point and laugh. I want it to happen, and I'm like, that's what you guys got. That's what you guys signed.
Oh
on.
shit! That is the Arthur Smith Bowl.
Atlanta's
Yeah.
revenge against Arthur Smith.
Yeah.
Bijan's going to get 5 touchdowns that game. Just watch.
No.
What? Wait, please be like a split, like all the touchdowns split specifically between Kyle Pitts and Bijan, like
Yeah.
specifically those two.
It's gonna be like Drake London gets touchdowns, Kyle Pitts gets. It's those three are just gonna run it up. Hopefully.
Please, yes. Like I need that. Just
Yeah, have a
2 touchdowns apiece for all 3 of them.
Okay, but it's time to go ahead and wrap things up with the last thing to talk about.
You're bad.
Oh, I'm
You're bad.
sorry. I'm sorry that Tepper is the owner of this team. As we talked about, the Carolina Panthers were expected to face the 11th easiest strength of schedule, 9th out of division, 9 spots easier than last year's actual strength of schedule. Schedule of defense is expected to go from 9th toughest actual to 5th easiest predicted, 6th easiest predicted pass defense schedule, 4th easiest pass rush schedule, going from the 2nd toughest rushing defense schedule to the 8th easiest. Man, that's a lot of good for them on that side at least. Schedule of offenses predicted to go from 4th toughest actual to 10th easiest predicted, from toughest pass offensive schedule to 11th easiest, and having the 4th easiest rush offensive schedule. They are forecast to win 4.5 games. They are favored in no games, underdogs in 16, average line of plus 4.2. For coaching, there is first-year head coach David Canales from Tampa Bay, their former offensive coordinator. There's Brad Idzik, first-year offensive coordinator, former Tampa Bay wide receiver coach. And Ejiro Evero, returning as defensive coordinator for a second year, proving just how much they like him, apparently. Key players lost: edge Brian Burns, Frankie Luvu, and Ida Rosmatos. Cornerbacks Dante Jackson and Shaq Griffin. Safeties Jeremy Chin and Von Bell. Wide receivers DJ Chark and LaVisca Chenault. Players that they added are right guard Robert Hunt, left guard Damian Lewis, edge Davian Conley, safety Jordan Fuller, wide receiver Xavier Leggett, they got at the end of the first round, and running back Jonathan Brooks from Texas in the second round. I made sure to bring up the Texas for one person in this chat in particular. So how do you think so we all think they're going to get like top 3 pick again, right?
Yeah, probably. I will say this, the Cope last year, when it was being rumored heavily that CJ Stroud was, of course, going to go number 1 overall to Panthers, and of course he doesn't. And it's like you can look at interviews, it's like Luke McCown or Josh McCown, I forget which. A McCown brother was like, "Yeah, we'll have to play basketball when you get here." Like, "Yeah, we're going to try to take CJ Stroud." They take Bryce Young, and even like the owner of the team is like, "Well, we never were thought about that. Bryce Young was always our guy, but we kind of thought we were going to take CJ Stroud. We just, I guess went in a different direction." It's like, my guy, this is a rookie quarterback, and you're throwing him under the bus already.
Frank Reich, while he was still the head coach, was specifically stating that he wanted CJ Stroud the whole time, and then he got fired, and then after that, he's like, "No," like the owner told them that we wanted Bryce Young, so that's why we had to do it. It's just like the whole situation is a mess. It's like, how do you, when you were wanting that so badly for a certain amount of time, how do you fuck that up?
I know it.
Hey, you got the win over CJ Stroud at least. Good for you, champ.
We talked about the greatness of CJ Stroud last season, his record-breaking numbers. Here's some stuff about Bryce Young, which, keep in mind, he did have a bad offensive line. CJ Stroud also worked behind probably the most injured offensive line, though. But yeah, for Bryce Young, he was 40th out of 48 quarterbacks EPA per attempt outside the red zone, and clean pockets inside the pocket, or on early downs without play action. First down in the first 3 quarters, throws under 2.5 seconds attempt, which are supposed to be the easier throws to do. He was kept clean on 357 out of 588 dropbacks and was 44th in accuracy, 44th in yards per attempt, and 41st in EPA per attempt. Since 2000, there were 17 rookie quarterbacks with at least 100 attempts from a clean pocket. Young was last in EPA and yards per attempt, 15th in accuracy and success rate, bottom 3 in other passing metrics. And the only quarterbacks that have similar performances as his are Zach Wilson and Kenny Pickett. Not a great outlook.
No, God, no.
Okay, the Panthers drafted a running back. I wonder why they took that running back. I bet no one left him on their draft board and stated to the world that they wanted him or anything.
Yeah.
And I bet that team didn't need a fucking running back or anything. I'm gonna cry.
Jerry Jones needs to not do so many media things for himself. He just keeps revealing new information that the team's trying to safeguard.
They don't even need him is the worst part about it. They just took him to be an asshole. Fuck the Panthers, man.
I will say they should get some more luck on their side at least. They had a turnover margin of -9, sack margin of -38, and a penalty margin of -14. So those are things that can turn around. They also, their only wins are in 1-score games, but they went 2-6 of those. So that could turn around for them. Hey, I brought this up for another team in this division. I don't think David Canales is a good offensive line. He should not have been hired as a head coach. He doesn't understand his own offense.
There are people I know that are Panthers fans, and for that reason,
I'm so sorry.
I hope that because of those people that I know that are Panthers fans, I hope that this team does not turn it around. I wish this team nothing but the worst.
Hey, I have a question.
Yeah.
No, this is for Shiloh. Am I aware of these people?
No.
Oh, I thought they were.
This person just annoys. It's not like they're a bad person. They just fucking annoy me.
I thought they were in that fantasy league I was in last year with you guys.
Oh, no.
Okay.
They were in the. Actually, double check that real quick for you.
I remember a
That was
Panthers.
my work- I
fan.
think that was my work league we were in.
Okay. I remember
you were
Panthers.
in-
fan
You were
is
my
the biggest
friend,
thing.
so you
Okay.
keep a little.
Nate, I drafted Dak Prescott as a joke, and he led me to the playoffs.
Hell yeah.
That's not even. It's not even a joke. It's like I drafted him also super late too, because he was just kind of sitting there.
Oh, wow, yeah, that would have been a good get. Sure. I will also go ahead and add, since David Tepper took over ownership in 2018, this team has the worst win rate in the league with at .313. Also,
you were.
another thing bad about this team is that the Panthers last year trailed at halftime by a combined 113 total points, were second worst. And they never held a lead in any game entering the fourth quarter.
That's unfortunately not surprising. I wish it was. Like, truly, I wanted to hear it. Like, oh, dang, really? That's not surprising.
They traded, what was it, 2 firsts and EJ Moore for Bryce Young, who only was known for playmaking ability. One of those immeasurables that's always a warning sign about a rookie quarterback. You're not measuring something you can see on the field all the time. You're not measuring arm strength. You're not measuring accuracy, decision making. You're going like, yeah, but sometimes you can get out of the pocket and do something out of structure.
And they could have taken CJ Stroud. And maybe the Bears wouldn't have been able to take Caleb Williams if they'd done that.
Yeah. Man, I'm sad for Panthers fans. I'm sorry that you have an owner who spills drinks on you.
Was it on them or was it on the opposing team fans? I think it was on the opposing team.
I'm pretty sure Tepper threw it at his own fans because they were booing him.
Yeah, probably.
Either way, he threw it on fans in general.
Yeah.
Shitty.
Hey, hope that new stadium looks great, though. Or new practice facility. I don't give a damn which one it is.
Polish a turd, it's still a turd.
Oh, man. Yeah, this ain't a fun team. This isn't a fun year. It's not a fun future.
Let's see how many teams. Let's look at this schedule, see how many games they win. Yeah,
Probably like 3 or 4.
Realistically, 3 or 4.
I mean, they'll probably win that many, but I can see this team winning none.
No, that's also very honest.
Yeah, they had a bad defense that did not really add much there, huh? Hey, at least Clowney looks good in Baltimore. You don't have a great defensive coordinator on your side, though, do you?
I
I don't know you do, actually. I like it as your overall. I feel like you could have been made a head coach at some point.
My brain 110% did not hear Clowney. It heard Cloudy, and I was gonna go, Medusa? She's in the NFL? Playing for
What a
the
congrats.
Panthers?
Hey, what
I
is
would
it?
congrats her.
Alright,
Sorry.
They'll go ahead and do it for our time with this miserable team.
Yeah.
Alright.
Unfortunately.
Oh, that was the wrong thing to pick. There we
What
go.
a sad organization.
Yeah.
Well, any closing thoughts or remarks anyone would like to bring up? I did see that the Chiefs, by the way, just gave an extension to offensive lineman Creed Humphrey.
Yeah, he's their center.
Offensive lineman.
What did I say? Defensive line? I thought I said.
Yeah, he's a defensive.
Sorry. Yeah. No, their center Creed Humphrey. Hey, good for him. He's good.
Honestly, could have won Rookie of the Year a couple years ago. I mean,
but offensive
wasn't
linemen
going to.
never win that.
yeah, he was never going to, but he with how good he was that year, he had a genuine shot, in my opinion.
Only true football nerds care about offensive line and interior defensive line. Which are
I
why those
care
positions
because we
never
don't have
fucking
one.
win.
Oh, that's why I'm upset about Graham Barton going to the
fucking Bucks. God damn it.
Anything else anyone like to bring up? Any addendums, things, any further thoughts you're going to get to?
Just please, anybody but the fucking Niners and Packers, please. Just please. Please.
Okay, it's going to be the Eagles.
Or the Eagles. So anybody but mention the Eagles.
Nope. Sorry, you willed into existence.
Okay, fine, it'll be the Lions.
I'm okay with that.
As long as they don't make it about the Cowboys when they do it, because they're going to.
It's only going to be the week they beat the Cowboys.
So I genuinely.
No, it won't. It won't.
This is what I want to happen. Genuinely, I want the Lions to win the Super Bowl. No one says anything about the Cowboys at all,
Please.
except for Shiloh. When no one else is saying it, it's like, why are you guys making it about the Cowboys? No one's talking about it.
Oh no, I won't. I won't say anything if no one else does.
No, I know. I just think it was what it is. I would very much find it funny if they're just like, what? Huh? I guess, yeah. And that's it. It's like, I would very much love for it to be all about the Lions is the biggest thing. Like,
Because it should be. That's how it should be.
yeah.
My heart of hearts, I do
Celebrate
want
your
the Lions
team.
to be
Don't bring
Super
the
Bowl.
Cowboys into it. It's like they had their whole huge moment like last year. They kept mentioning the Cowboys like during it and everything. Like, oh, the Lions made it to the NFC Championship before the Cowboys made it back. Oh, it's like, shut up.
Shut up.
Enjoy your moment. Don't make it our moment. Because it's not. I'm tired of this. It's been 30 years.
Listen,
I'm in pain.
Just remember, there are teams that you can still look down on, like the Carolina Panthers. Actually, no, the Panthers did make it to the Super Bowl, but they lost pretty badly.
I just want to look down on everyone, okay?
Oh,
I want to be
there's the Dallas fan.
Yeah, I want to be toxic to everyone, man.
I want to be toxic to everyone, man.
I guess before we kind of like wrap, there are some weird contracts up with the NFC, so let's just go ahead and say off that where we think CD, Dak, and Brandon Ayuk are going to be next year.
Oh, we still got to worry about Micah then.
Honestly, I think Micah stays. I genuinely think they re-signed Micah is the biggest thing. I as much as I want to see CD get re-signed by the the Cowboys as well.
I think we do.
I mean, they've been spending a lot of money hypothetically, Kansas City, but they would have to spend a lot of money on him is the biggest thing.
I would say the Cowboys don't get the contract they think they're going. That Jerry keeps saying it's going to happen, and they're going to.
I think we get CD. I think the one that may not happen is Dak. I think that one kind of depends on how the season goes.
I could see the exact same thing, unfortunately. Like, I don't want to see this at all, but I could see it as the biggest thing.
I'd rather Dak be able to stay, but he's probably going to get some. If nothing's actually done between now and the end of the season, then it's for sure that he's going to be put onto another team because they can't tag him.
Unless they can find a way to get a new contract in a way that is structured that it's not such a cap hit every goddamn year like it is right now.
Hey,
considering we're not winning anything right now, I'm weirdly okay with it. As good as he's been for us, we're paying too much for not enough.
At least not spending as much money on the cap as the Giants are for Daniel Jones.
I mean, it feels like it though, because it's like 60 a year, some shit like that.
Daniel Jones has a cap hit of 69 this year.
What's Dak's cap hit? It's something.
That's actually just dead cap. But I mean, Brandon Ayuk is such a weird one because he's obviously going to be a 49er this year at this point.
Oh yeah, he's dead cap 66.
Okay.
So almost 67. It's at 66.9.
Yeah, but with Ayuk, I do feel like he is going to end up hitting the open market. Because I don't think they're going to tag him either. I think they're going to just be like, we tried. Go ahead and check out other pasture. We're the Shanahan offense. We can work with or without.
What is Micah's? How much is? I don't remember if this is last year. If we have a little more time.
You should have like another year or two, but Jerry needs to get on that sooner than later.
Oh yeah, but and then thanks to fucking Bosa, we're gonna have to pay out the ass for him.
Hey,
we have one more year, and it's a club option though. I think we picked it up, or at least we're going to.
Okay, so that better be done mid-season then.
Yeah.
Jerry needs to be better about getting these deals done before the last second.
So yeah, this is last year on the actual contract. We're gonna more than likely pick up the club option for next year, I would assume anyway. And then Dak and CD need to be taken care of or let go. And I assume we'll get at least CD done. Dak is like the biggest question mark. Personally thinking anyway.
Unless there's any other things you'd like to discuss, everyone.
No, I'm okay.
Okay. We can go ahead and wrap things up here for our NFC 2024 preview. And we'll be back next week, hopefully with the full casting crew as we go ahead and get through the predictions for the 2024 schedule as a whole. Go over our consensus picks and look into who we think will make it into the playoffs and who wins the Super Bowl in the end, as well as some awards and a few other predictions going on. Yeah, hope you all had a fun time watching this. Thank you, Shiloh and Johnny, for joining me. And shout out to Holly Rumble, who couldn't make it, but we still appreciate them and can't wait to have them here next week as well.
Yeah. Also, shout out Morphman 101. You're out there somewhere, probably not dead in a ditch.
And you heard me call the Eagles stinky and can't defend it.
Yeah.
True.
Have a fantastic time, everyone. Thank you all so much. And see you next week. Hope your team does well. Sorry if we missed sports stuff. Bye.